Chapter 2377. Dandan controlled the formation and countless runes appeared, forming pieces of turtle shells that were like shields, surrounding Ming and Dandan in the middle. Boom, boom, boom. Just as the turtle shell rose, the attacks from all directions arrived. Each attack was from a peak emperor, but they were all blocked by the turtle shell. None of the attacks could break through the turtle shell. Ha ha, you want to break the formation I set up? Although it's only for a short time, it's still possible to set up a formation that can protect you all. Dandan laughed out loud, extremely proud. Damn it, watch me break your turtle shell. Break! The rest of the peak emperors shouted and used their ultimate moves to attack Dandan and Ming. However, there were so many turtle shells that they blocked all the gaps. When all the attacks landed on the turtle shells, they only trembled but couldn't be broken. Everyone attack 1 point. Someone shouted, wanting to concentrate everyone's attack on 1 point and break the turtle shell. Whoosh! Whoosh! Everyone's attacks were focused on the turtle shell. Sure enough, this move was effective. The turtle shell shook violently, and then cracks appeared on it. Those people were overjoyed, but their faces were very calm, and even had a faint mocking look. Boom! The turtle shell was shattered, but in the next moment, a new turtle shell was formed. Those people were stunned for a moment, and then their anger soared to the sky, and they launched an attack again. But it was no use. Every time they broke a turtle shell, a new one would float out. Dandan revealed a faint smile and a leisurely expression, which almost made those people vomit blood. After attacking for a while, there was no effect at all, and those people had to stop. What's the point of hiding in the turtle shell? Well, just wait here. He'll come out sooner or later, and once he does, we'll tear them to pieces. The royal member of the evil god tribe said coldly. The others also revealed cold gazes. Have you all forgotten what one said before? At this moment, the formation spirit in the air spoke, its clear voice ringing in everyone's ears. I've already given you the items. After you get them, I'll send you out. You have half an hour more. After that, I'll send all of you out at the same time. Half an hour, damn it. The rest of the people's expressions changed drastically. Then, they launched their attacks one after another, attacking Dandan and Ming. They had to break through Dandan's formation within half an hour. However, everything was in vain. It was completely useless. There were even people who bombarded the void, smashing it into pieces, trying to destroy the formation base of the formation. However, this kind of formation that imprinted runes in the void couldn't be broken at all. Unless the power was extremely strong and annihilated all the particles in the void, it was impossible to break through the void. Time passed quickly, and half an hour was up. All right, time's up. You can all leave. At this moment, the formation spirit spoke. After she finished speaking, her body emitted a dazzling radiance. An incomparably powerful force was applied to Ming and the rest. Boom! Their bodies were repelled by an extremely powerful force, and they flew out of the statue in an instant. Then they flew out of the island. At this moment, an extremely terrifying and supreme power erupted from the statue and spread in all directions. Everyone on Void God Island was pushed by this force, and was sent flying out of the island. However, the strange thing was that the demonic beasts and mutated beasts that had originally lived on the island were completely fine. Ming's body was in the air. He could not control his body at all. It was as if he was being pushed by a huge wave in the sea and was flying backward rapidly. At the same time, he saw many other figures being pushed in all directions from the other corners of the island. The scene was extremely spectacular. Not long after, Ming and the rest were pushed to the edge of the Void God Island. They stood in the void, and at this time the force disappeared. At the edge of the island stood many figures. There were beings from the evil god race and the heaven realm. Other than Ming and a few people, most of the people looked at each other, not knowing what had happened. Suddenly a scream was heard. Someone had made a move. One of the evil god race members suddenly attacked and tore apart a heaven realm expert. That was because at the edge of the island, the living beings of the evil god race and heaven realm were all mixed together. After being stunned for a moment, someone finally reacted and made a move. You're looking for death. Immediately, someone from the heaven realm retaliated. At the edge of the Void God Island, a chaotic battle immediately broke out. 2 2-star and 3-star great emperors attacked Ming and were killed by him with one punch. Dandan, let's go first. Lu Ming rushed toward Dandan because Dandan happened to appear not far from him. Soon, the two of them met up and rushed out into the void, trying to meet up with Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu. "Stay here." With a loud roar, one of the evil god race members charged toward Lu Ming and the other man with a burning gaze. This evil god race member was a peak emperor. There were almost 20 peak great emperors left in the statue, but they were scattered by the force. There was only one peak great emperor here. "You want to keep me here alone? Die!" A ferocious look flashed in Dandan's eyes as she charged toward this peak great emperor from the evil god race. As for Lu Ming, he had already put away the celestial emperor's body. Without it, he was no match for a peak great emperor, so he did not make a move. Boom. Boom. Dandan's battle power was extremely strong, and after a few moves, she made the peak emperor spit out blood. The other party was shocked and retreated, not daring to fight Lu Ming. Lu Ming and Dandan met up and rushed outside. "Let's go. Now is not the time for the final battle." On the side of the heaven realm, someone shouted, and then flew out one by one. The people from the evil god race didn't dare to chase after them, because the heaven realm's people were flying in the direction that the heaven realm's celestial arch was receiving. If they chased after them, they would only be met with death. The evil god race members turned around and flew in another direction. Slowly, the battle at the edge of the Void God Island came to a stop. Everyone chose the right direction and left the Void God Island. Lu Ming and Dandan flew at top speed. The Void God Island was getting further and further away from them, and it was getting smaller. Finally, they saw the figures in front of them. It was the Heavenly Emperor from the Heavenly Realm, and there were more than a dozen of them. Lu Ming saw the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor among them. These Heavenly Emperors were all looking at the Void God Island anxiously. Clearly, they had also sensed the change on the island. The Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor's eyes lit up when he saw Lu Ming, and he flew over. "Lu Ming, what happened on the Void God Island?" Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu asked. The other celestial emperors also turned to look at him curiously. Chapter 2378. Senior Hung Yu, this matter is complicated. "Let's go back first," Lu Ming said. "All right, 111 bring you guys back." The Eternal Universe Heavenly Emperor nodded. Then, with a wave of his hand, he led Lu Ming and Dandan toward the passageway that they had come from. That passageway was also guarded by the Celestial Arch. The Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor brought Lu Ming and Dandan through the passage and returned to the Tai Ching Heavenly region. "Lu Ming, you guys wait for me here. I have to go and bring the others back," Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu said. There were many great emperors that entered the island, but the number of heavenly emperors was limited. Naturally, each heavenly emperor would have to make many trips. "Senior Hung Yu, how about this? Well, wait for you in Two World City first," Lu Ming said. "That's good too. You guys can return to Two World City first." Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu nodded before turning around and entering the passageway. Lu Ming and Dandan flew toward Two World City. Back when the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor had brought them from Two World City, it had only taken them an hour. However, their speed was naturally not as fast as the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperors. The two of them had flown at full speed, but it had still taken them 2 full days to return to Two World City. In Lu Ming's residence in Two World City, Lu Ming and Dandan began to divide the treasures they had obtained. What they split was mainly the Heaven Dao soldier and the token. The two of them took out all their Heaven Dao soldiers. The two of them had worked together to snatch 6 Heaven Dao soldiers, and the other one had been brought in by the evil god race's royal clan. There were a total of 7 of them. The 7 Heaven Dao soldiers gave off a terrifying aura, scaring Dandan so much that she hurriedly set up a formation to cover up the aura. In addition, there was also that token. "Dandan, what will you choose?" Lu Ming looked at Dandan. Dandan's eyes swept between the Heaven Dao soldier and the token with a fiery gaze, wishing she could take both for herself. "I'll study this token first." Dandan grabbed the token in her hand and studied it carefully. However, Dandan had used all kinds of methods, but she had found nothing. "Why would I?" Dandan revealed a puzzled expression. "Let me see." Lu Ming took the token and studied it carefully. However, he realized that there was nothing special about the token except that it was made of special materials and was sturdy. "It's a very ordinary token. Is it really more important than a Heaven Dao soldier?" Lu Ming was puzzled. Dandan was also scratching her head, unable to figure it out. "Dandan, how about this 7 Heaven Dao soldiers? Each person will get 3, Each person will get 4, but the 3 Heaven Dao soldiers plus this token, how about it? Lu Ming looked at dandan. All right. Dandan nodded, but her eyes were rolling around, obviously hesitating about what to choose. How about this? I'll take 3 Heaven Dao soldiers and this command medallion. Lu Ming was the first to speak. You chose this token? You sure know how to choose. Dandan gritted her teeth. Dandan, this token might not be of any use at all. You've studied it before. I took it out purely out of curiosity. Heaven Dao soldiers are so precious. You've made a big profit by letting you take one more. Lu Ming said. Go, 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 you're trying to trick a 3-year-old kid. This token is extremely mysterious, and it was taken out last by the formation spirit. It might contain the secret of the heavenly Dao. You want to keep it for yourself, kid, but don't think one don't know. Dandan gritted her teeth and stared at the token, reluctant to look away. Dandan, how about this? I always feel that I have some fate with this token. I'll take it first, and if I discover any secrets in the future, I'll definitely take you with me. How about it? Lu Ming said. He really couldn't bear to give this token to Dandan. To be honest, he really had a feeling that this token might be of great use in the future. This was a kind of intuition. Dandan gritted her teeth, obviously still reluctant. Finally, she gritted her teeth and said, Brat, if you discover any secrets in the future, you must tell me. Otherwise, I won't let you off. After saying that, Dandan began to pick out the 7 Heaven Dao soldiers. Dandan, this spear is more suitable for me. You can choose the rest. Lu Ming kept one of the long spears. Dandan was unconcerned. A Heaven Dao soldier in the form of a spear was not of much use to him. In the end, Dandan chose 4 Heaven Dao soldiers and kept them, leaving 2 for Lu Ming. The remaining 2 items were a sword and a meteor hammer. Lu Ming kept all of them, feeling satisfied. This time around, he had obtained 3 Heaven Dao soldiers. This was a huge harvest. Lu Ming, will be cultivating in 2 World City for this period of time. If you discover anything, remember to look for me, he said. After Dandan put away the things, her figure flashed and she left the place. Lu Ming smiled, then took out 2 storage rings and checked them. He had obtained the 2 storage rings from the array spirit. Lu Ming was very curious about what was inside. Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he used his spiritual senses to scan the area. The items in the storage ring were all over the place. Oriox, all sorts of blacksmithing materials, pills, and so on. Chaos gem. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He found chaos gems in one of the storage rings. This time, there were a shocking number of them, more than 10,000 pieces. This was an astonishing harvest. Also, the fragment of the Great Dao. Next, Lu Ming found more fragments of the Great Dao. They were locked in a box, and there were more than 100 pieces. Even though Lu Ming was mentally prepared, he was overjoyed. If this wealth was taken out, it would make people go crazy. I'm rich, I'm really rich. Lu Ming's current wealth was already more than many of the heavenly emperors. 3 Heaven Dao weapons was no joke. After all, most of the celestial emperors didn't even have Heaven Dao weapons. This trip to the Void God Island has truly been a great harvest. Lu Ming sighed. After cultivating on the Void Island for 7 to 8 years, Lu Ming had made great progress in all dimensions. Lu Ming had already cultivated 8 of the 10 ultimate maxims to the 3rd realm. He had also cultivated 3 of the King Path maxims to the 3rd realm. Moreover, Lu Ming had also cultivated the 7 Gods mysterious technique to the middle of the 5th stage. His abilities had improved in all aspects. What a pity. If I had cultivated in there for a while, I might have been able to successfully cultivate the remaining 2 ultimate maxims. Lu Ming sighed. Out of the 10 strongest laws, he had only just started learning the law of cause and effect. As for the law of fate, he had yet to learn it. The speed of comprehending the laws on the Void Island was dozens of times faster than it was outside. Lu Ming was really tempted. It was a pity that he couldn't go in the future. It's already very rare for me to have such a great harvest. One can't be too greedy. Lu Ming smiled and kept his things. He sat cross-legged, and his soul entered the small world to begin comprehending the laws of karma. Time flew by and half a month passed. On this day, Emperor Hengyu had arrived. It was clear that all the great emperors who had entered the island had been brought out. Lu Ming immediately recounted what had happened on the island to Emperor Hengyu. Chapter 2379. Heavenly Emperor Hengyu sighed when he heard about what had happened on the Void God Island. Senior Hengyu, this weapon is for you. Lu Ming moved his hand, and a combat sword appeared in his hand. It was one of the 3 Heaven Dao soldiers. This is a Heaven Dao soldier. Heavenly Emperor Hung Ye's eyes lit up when he saw the sword. It is. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Ming, this Heaven Dao soldier is too valuable. If you sell it, the price will be immeasurable. One can't accept it. Although Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu was tempted, he still shook his head. Lu Ming had risked his life to obtain this. How could he accept it? Senior Hung Yu, please accept it. I've gained a lot this time, and one have my own Heaven Dao soldier. I have no use for this sword. Lu Ming said. Indeed, he had gained a lot this time. He had all kinds of resources. There was no need for him to sell the Heaven Dao soldiers. He didn't lack resources. Along the way, the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor had been of great help to him, especially the Heavenly Emperor's physical body, which had helped Lu Ming escape danger many times. It was only right to give the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor a Heaven Dao soldier. Seeing Lu Ming's firm attitude, the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor hesitated for a moment before putting it away. Lu Ming, if you need anything, just tell me. It'll definitely help you if it's within my means. The Hung Yu Heavenly Dao said. Senior Hung Yu, you're too serious. Lu Ming said hurriedly. Heavenly Emperor Hung Yu looked at the sword in his hand carefully, and the more he looked at it, the more he liked it, and a smile appeared on his face. His cultivation was at the 3-star Heavenly Emperor realm. With this Heaven Dao soldier, his combat strength would increase by a large margin. Even if he encountered a peerless expert at the 4-star Heavenly Emperor realm, as long as the other party didn't have a Heaven Dao soldier, he would be able to fight against them. He could even make use of the Heavenly Dao contained in the Heavenly Dao soldiers to improve his cultivation, break through the bottleneck, and break through to the 4-star Heavenly Emperor level, becoming a peerless powerhouse, a figure at the Heavenly Venerable level in the Heavenly Realm. This Heaven Dao soldier was too useful to him. After a while, the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor kept the Heaven Dao soldier and left after chatting with Lu Ming for a while. He needed to refine the Heaven Dao soldier as soon as possible so that he could unleash its full power. After the Hung Yu Celestial Arch left, Lu Ming made a trip to the Chaos Hall and gave the remaining Heavenly Dao soldier, the Meteor Hammer, to 2E. Earth One was naturally overjoyed to obtain the Heaven Dao soldier. Actually, the Primal Chaos Palace had also left behind Heaven Dao soldiers. However, there were only 2 of them, and they weren't suitable for the Earth element. One was in Gold One's hands, and the other was in Lei Yi's hands. The others had long been envious. Now that Earth One had won, he was naturally overjoyed and extremely grateful to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled. Earth One and the rest were completely under his command. The stronger they were, the better it was for him. After Lu Ming returned to his residence, he had an idea and entered the mountain and river diagram. Then a long spear appeared in his hand. This long spear was the Heaven Dao soldier. Boom! Boom! All of Lu Ming's power erupted. The power of his physical body, the power of the world, and the power of the laws were all unleashed. The long spear emitted a dazzling radiance and swept out. The void was instantly shattered, and an endless space storm howled. It was simply destructive. Cool, this is too cool. After waving it a few times, Lu Ming stopped. With his current cultivation, he naturally couldn't unleash the full power of the Heaven Dao soldiers, nor could he activate the power of the Heaven Dao within. However, the material of the Heaven Dao soldiers was extremely sturdy, and once activated, they would be heavier than a mountain. Lu Ming could unleash all his power without any restraint. Previously, when Lu Ming condensed the infinite dragon spear with the law, he could not unleash all of Lu Ming's power. At the very least, he could not use his physical strength to his heart's content. Once there was a strong collision, the infinite dragon spear would collapse. Therefore, most of the time, Lu Ming simply used his fists to fight the enemy. In that case, he would be able to unleash his abilities more. But now, with this long spear, Lu Ming's strength could be unleashed to his heart's content. Moreover, the long spear had more or less increased Lu Ming's combat strength. On the handle of the spear, there were 3 words: Great Desolation Spear. Great Desolation Spear, accompany me in my world war. Lu Ming smiled and kept the Great Desolation Spear. After a while, I'll go back to the primordial realm to take a look. Lu Ming started to think. It had been many years since he had entered the heaven realm from the passageway in the divine wilderness continent's 9 dragons. Now that his strength had improved rapidly, it was time for him to go back and take a look. Also, he had to go back and settle some scores. For example, the Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect of the Heavenly Emperor City. The Mu family in the Divine Land. These people wanted to kill him back then. It was time to settle the score. However, before Lu Ming returned, he planned to look for Bubbles, Long Chun, Feng Ling, and the rest. He had too many resources on hand now, and he planned to give them some. This way, their cultivation speed would also increase. Lu Ming found a few acquaintances and asked them about Bubbles and the rest. He waited while asking. At the same time, in a great hall of the Lan family, the higher-ups of the Lan family and the Yen family were discussing something. Lu Ming, you've gone too far. The Heavenly Emperor of the Lan family, Lan Cheng, let out a furious roar filled with endless killing intent. The other members of the Lan family were the same. However, as they were emitting killing intent, their eyes were also filled with fear. This was because they had already learned that some of the great emperors of the Lan family had been killed by Lu Ming on the Void Island. After all, there were many people who were still alive in the Heaven Realm. When those people came out, they immediately passed the news to the Lan family. The upper echelons of the Lan family were shocked when they heard this news. They immediately gathered the upper echelons and the Yen family's celestial arch for a discussion. Master, what should we do now? Someone asked Lan Cheng. Kill him. We must kill him. We can't let Lu Ming grow. Otherwise, we'll all die. Lan Cheng said coldly. Foolish. Right at this moment, an aged voice sounded out, causing the expressions of everyone present to change. In the next moment, a white-haired old man in coarse clothes appeared in the hall. Everyone in the Lan family quickly stood up and bowed. We pay our respects to the ancestor. The Yen clan's heavenly emperor also stood up and said, Greetings, exalted celestial. Above the 4-star heavenly emperor, they were known as heavenly venerates. The Lan family's patriarch's gaze swept across the crowd before finally landing on Lan Cheng. Now, you still want to kill Lu Ming? Old ancestor, Lu Ming has killed so many great emperors of the Lan family. How can we not kill him? Moreover, if we let him go on like this, the Lan family will be in danger. Lan Cheng said. Oh, then tell me, how do we kill them? The Lan clan's old ancestor said. How? Lan Cheng was stunned. With Lu Ming's current strength, are you confident in sending a great emperor? If the great emperor wasn't confident, would you and I do it personally? If we make a move and someone notices, will the celestial arch behind Lu Ming go crazy? Also, everyone in the Heaven Realm now knows that Lu Ming is an enemy of the Lan family. If Lu Ming is secretly killed, will the others suspect that we did it? I'm afraid that the celestial emperors behind him will also come to our Lan family. The Lan family's ancestor said coldly. Chapter 2380. Lan Cheng's face was deathly pale as he asked, What should we do then, ancestor? Are we just going to sit and wait for death? You're so silly. We're not at the point where we can't rest until one of us dies with Lu Ming. Therefore, we should ask for his forgiveness. We should make peace with him and resolve the grievances between us. This is the best plan. The Lan clan's old ancestor said. We're asking for forgiveness. Lu Ming has killed so many of our people. We're still asking for forgiveness. Lan Cheng shouted in disbelief. Back then, in the Blue Moon City, not only did Lu Ming ruin their plan, but he also killed the Lan family's top genius, Lan Yun, and many of their true emperors in public. And this time, on the Void God Island, Lu Ming had killed many great emperors from the Lan clan. The Lan family had suffered heavy losses. Now, the Lan family actually wanted to ask Lu Ming for forgiveness. They found it hard to accept. If we don't do this, do you have any better ideas? The Lan family's ancestor said coldly. Lan Cheng and the others looked confused. Indeed, other than that, did they have any better ideas? Lu Ming is a world-shaking genius with unparalleled destiny. He's the main character who suppresses an era. Such a person has appeared in history before. Once you make an enemy of such a person, you have to kill him before he grows up. Otherwise, you'll be the one who dies. Now, Lu Ming has already become powerful, and he has a large number of powerhouses behind him. At this point, it's unwise to make an enemy of him. It's foolish and suicidal. The best strategy now is to resolve the grudges with him. Only then can the Lan family continue to survive. Otherwise, the Lan family will be like those forces that have been destroyed and will disappear forever in the long river of history. Pass on my order. Prepare a valuable gift and ask for Lu Ming's forgiveness. The Lan family's patriarch immediately gave the order. One day, Lu Ming was cultivating when the Hongyu Heavenly Emperor came to look for him. The Hongyu Heavenly Emperor looked at Lu Ming with a strange expression. "Senior Hongyu, what's the matter?" Lu Ming's hair stood on end under the Hongyu Heavenly Emperor's gaze. "Ha ha ha, of course it's something good. Just now, the Lan family and Lanqing asked me to pass on a message to you. The Lan family and Yen family want to apologize to you and prepare a generous gift for your forgiveness. They want to resolve their grudges with you." Heavenly Emperor Hongyu said with a smile. "What?" Lu Ming was stunned when he heard that. His expression turned strange. He did not expect that the Lan family would actually ask for his forgiveness and resolve their grudges. He had thought that the Lan family would secretly send people to kill him. The Lan family's people are quite bold. Lu Ming smiled. It was obvious that the Lan family had already found out about the incident on the Void God Island. They must have been shocked by his improvement speed. Lu Ming's rate of improvement was too terrifying. If this continued, it would not be long before he became an unparalleled figure. The Lan family was afraid. "Haha, I didn't expect that the Lan family would have such a day. This is a big matter. Lu Ming, what does he plan to do? Do you accept or not?" Heavenly Emperor Hongyu said with a smile. "Since they're so sincere, why not accept it? However, I have conditions. Senior Hongyu, please help me pass a message to the Lan family. It's fine if they want to apologize and resolve the grudges, but I have 2 conditions. First, the Lan and Yen families prepare 500 chaos gems. Second, the Lan family and the Yen family will announce this to the world. Then, in Two World City, they will publicly apologize to me. If you can fulfill these 2 conditions, I'll agree to it. Otherwise, there's no need to talk," Lu Ming said. To be honest, Lu Ming was not interested in the 500 chaos gems. He had more than 20,000 chaos gems on him and more than 20,000 primordial chaos stones. 500 chaos gems were just a drop in the bucket. However, 500 chaos gems were nothing to Lu Ming. It was enough to make the Lan family and the Yen family bleed. "Ha ha ha, I'll tell them your conditions now. One really want to know their expressions." Heavenly Emperor Hongyu laughed heartily before turning around to leave. Lan Cheng's furious roar came from the Lan family's main hall. 500 chaos gems? Why doesn't he just rob someone? Also, tell the whole world and ask for forgiveness in public. He can dream on. Where will the face of our Lan family be in the future? Lan Cheng's eyes were blood red, like a crazy lion. The Yen clan Heavenly Emperor's expression was not any better. The other members of the Lan family also had ugly expressions, but they didn't say anything. Now, did they still have a way out? The strong preyed on the weak, who told them to be weak. Agree to his request. The Lan clan's ancestor coldly spoke. "Old ancestor," Lan Cheng roared. He was extremely unwilling, and his eyes were red. "If you want to die, don't drag the Lan family down with you." The Lan family's ancestor shot a cold glance at Lan Cheng. Lan Cheng immediately shut his mouth. His chest heaved up and down rapidly. After a long time, he let out a long sigh. Of course, he didn't want to die. As a heavenly emperor, he had no disasters and tribulations. His lifespan was endless. How could he want to die? Previously, he just couldn't let go of his face. "What do you say?" The Lan family's patriarch turned to the Yen family's celestial arch. "Whatever the Lan clan does, the Yen clan will do." The Yen clan celestial arch sighed. "All right. Spread the word that the Lan family will seek Lu Ming's forgiveness in Two World City 10 days later and resolve our grudges with him." The Lan family's patriarch gave the order. Then, a piece of news spread like a whirlwind in the heaven realm, causing a great shock. Everyone was dumbfounded. The Lan family and the Yen family actually wanted to apologize to Lu Ming in public and resolve their grudges. An ancient family with an unparalleled expert backing them up had to ask for forgiveness from a junior. This had never happened since ancient times. In the heavenly realm, there seemed to be an earthquake of more than a dozen magnitude in the Tai-Ching heavenly region. Everyone was discussing this matter. There were also many people who rushed to Two World City, wanting to witness this with their own eyes. Countless people gathered in Two World City. Soon, the time that both sides agreed on arrived. On this day, a huge public square in Two World City was filled with people. Countless figures had gathered. The human race, as well as the divine beasts and other races, had all transformed into human forms to watch the show. Damn, Lu Ming is really awesome. If I can reach his level, I will die without regrets. In the crowd, the unscrupulous monk chanted the name of Buddha and said enviously, "Master, Aren't monks supposed to be emotionless and not care about fame and fortune? Someone asked. That's the other monks, not me. The monk was very thick-skinned. Around them Long Chun, Feng Ling, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others looked at them with disdain. They had also heard the news and came to watch the show. They also gathered with Lu Ming. Lu Ming is here. Someone shouted, and everyone looked in one direction. On the other side, Lu Ming stepped through the air and landed on the square. At this moment, Lu Ming was the focus of everyone's attention. Brother Lu Ming. A figure flashed and Bubbles appeared on Lu Ming's shoulder. After not seeing each other for so many years, Bubbles finally seemed to have grown up a little. She looked like she was 4 or 5 years old and was extremely cute. Chapter 2381. I haven't seen you for many years. Your cultivation has improved quite quickly. Lu Ming touched Bubbles' head. After not seeing each other for many years, Lu Ming realized that Bubbles' cultivation was almost at the peak of the true emperor stage. There were not many people in the younger generation in the heaven realm who could match her cultivation. This cultivation speed was already very terrifying. Of course, it was still incomparable to dandan. After all, dandan was the divine turtle from the ancient times. Although Bubbles was one of the top 10 war beasts, she was a newborn and had to rely on herself to comprehend everything. I can't be compared to brother Lu Ming. The bubble hung on Lu Ming's neck and swayed. The Lan family and the Yen family are here. At this moment, a voice was heard. Many people looked in the same direction. A group of people flew over from the other side. The one leading them was the Lan family's old ancestor, a peerless expert. Behind the Lan family patriarch was the patriarch of the Lan family, Lan Chung, and the celestial arch of the Yen family. Behind them were some higher-ups of the two families. Almost all the higher-ups of the Lan family and the Yen family were present. They landed on the square and walked toward Lu Ming. The Lan family's patriarch's face was full of smiles. He cupped his fists at Lu Ming and said, "We're late. Brother Lu Ming, please forgive us." "You're welcome," Lu Ming said with a faint smile on his face. "I'll cut to the chase. I'm here today to apologize to little brother Lu Ming. All these years, the Lan family has gone too far in certain aspects and offended little brother Lu Ming. One hope that little brother Lu Ming can forgive us." The Lan clan's ancestor cupped his fists. Although they knew that the Lan family would apologize, many people were still stunned when they saw the patriarch of the Lan family talking to Lu Ming in an affable manner. They thought that they were in a dream. One should know that the Lan family's patriarch was a peerless expert, a 4-star heavenly emperor. Such a person was already standing at the peak with shocking combat strength. But now he was bowing down and apologizing to a junior. It was rare since ancient times. However, Lu Ming did not want to accept the other party's apology so easily. "Oh, I'd like to know, in what way have you offended me? Clan head Lan, why don't you help me memorize it?" Lu Ming sneered and looked at Lan City. Lan Cheng's face turned ugly. However, he still squeezed out a smile and stepped forward. The Lan family has indeed offended brother Lu Ming in some ways in the past. Please forgive us. Forgive? Let me ask you, in what way have you offended me? Tell me clearly, do you not understand? Lu Ming said coldly. Lan Cheng's heart was filled with anger. If any other junior dared to speak to him like this, he would have slapped them to death. However, he did not dare to do so to Lu Ming. He dared to bet that there were many heavenly emperors in the vicinity. If he made a move, he would be the one to be slapped to death. In the end, he could only suppress his anger and answer honestly. Back then, it was the Lan family's prodigy, Lan Yun, who offended little brother Lu Ming and targeted him time and time again. That's why both parties were at odds with each other. Lan Cheng answered honestly. What else? Lu Ming continued asking. Also back then, one was blinded by greed. I coveted your indestructible ancient scroll, and I sent people to kill you on the battlefield outside Two World City. Lan Cheng gritted his teeth and told him about this matter. He knew that Lu Ming wanted them to apologize in public because he wanted to make everything public. If he did not say it today, Lu Ming would definitely not let it go. As soon as he said this, the crowd was in an uproar. Everyone suddenly realized. Back then, the Lan family said that Lu Ming killed Heaven Realm powerhouses on the battlefield of true emperors in order to snatch the treasure. All of this was false. It was all because of the Yen family's celestial arch in Lan City, who coveted Lu Ming's indestructible ancient scroll and wanted to kill him. Despicable, truly despicable. So this is the Lan family's true colors. Despicable scoundrels. We were all deceived by them. I knew it. Lu Ming would not do such a thing. Many people roared and glared at the Lan family. Lan Chung gritted his teeth. However, he could only swallow this bitter fruit. It was his fault for offending a pervert like Lu Ming. The Lan family has offended you. Please forgive us, brother Lu Ming. The Yen family has offended you. Please forgive us, brother Lu Ming. In Lan City, the Yen family's heavenly emperor cupped his fists and saluted Lu Ming. Brother Lu Ming, this is a small gift from the Lan family and the Yen family. Please accept it. The Lan family's patriarch smiled apologetically and took out a storage ring. With a wave of his hand, the storage ring flew slowly towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming reached out and took it. He scanned it with his spiritual senses and found that there were exactly 500 chaos gems inside. Remember, if people don't offend me, I won't offend them. One can write off the past, but if you offend me again, 111 definitely exterminate your entire family. Lu Ming put away the storage ring and turned to leave. He did not look at the Lan family and Yen family anymore. Huang Ling, Long Chen, brother Ouyang. Let's go for a drink. Today's harvest is not bad. Lu Ming looked at Long Chen, Feng Ling, and the rest. 111 drink. 111 definitely drink, and I'll drink to my heart's content. The unscrupulous monk was the first to cry out. What are you drinking, monk? Desolate Power looked down on them. Everyone laughed. Amidst the laughter, the group of young people left. Lu Ming bought a large amount of fine wine and came to his residence. He took out a lot of divine beast flesh. Over the years, Lu Ming had hoarded a lot of divine beast flesh and blood, all of which were at least overlord tier. Everyone started to work and soon, the smell of meat filled the air. Everyone was eating meat and drinking wine, chatting about the interesting things they had encountered over the years. During this period, Lu Ming took out a large number of resources and distributed them to everyone. For example, supreme-grade raw gemstones, primordial chaos stones, and chaos stones. The crowd started to reject it because it was too precious. However, when Lu Ming took out a bunch of them, they did not reject him. They accepted some from each of them. These resources could indeed greatly speed up their cultivation. It wasn't until the evening of the second day that the crowd dispersed. I should return to the primordial realm, Lu Ming muttered. He then looked for Heavenly Emperor Heng Yu and asked for the way back to the primordial realm. It was relatively easy to go to the primordial realm in the Taiching heavenly region, as there were many passages. Two World City had such a passage. Alone, Lu Ming and the Heng Yu heavenly emperor arrived at a valley, which was guarded by powerful cultivators. The space in the valley was extremely unstable. Spatial cracks kept appearing. One could clearly see that behind the spatial cracks was a void passage. The passage was not large, but it was enough to accommodate dozens of people at the same time. Senior Heng Yu, take care. Lu Ming cupped his fists and stepped into the space crack. In a flash, he was in the void channel. Lu Ming stepped forward. He seemed to see an endless void passing by him. After an unknown period of time, a bright light appeared in front of him. Lu Ming rushed out and found himself standing in the sky. Below him was the boundless earth. Primordial realm, Lu Ming had returned. Chapter 2382. Lu Ming stood high in the sky and looked around. All he could see were vast mountains. According to Senior Heng Yu, this should be Yuan Mountain. I just don't know where it is. Let's find a place with people and ask. At the thought of this, Lu Ming's figure moved and he broke open space. He shuttled through the void at an extremely fast speed. A few minutes later, Lu Ming saw a city. He went in and asked around, only to discover that this was the north of Mount Yuan. Lu Ming found a large force nearby and borrowed their teleportation array to head to one of the 9 great holy lands of Mount Yuan, the ancient Moon Holy Land. It did not take long for Lu Ming to return to the ancient Moon Holy Land. When Lu Ming walked out of the teleportation array outside the ancient Moon Sanctuary, he immediately caused a commotion and was recognized by the people nearby. Lu Ming was too famous in the ancient Moon Holy Land. Back then, Lu Ming had joined forces with more than 10 powerful forces in the ancient Moon Holy Land to destroy the Wind Clan in one fell swoop. There were also the Sirius Tower, the Golden Crow Clan, the Wan family, and other powerful forces, causing the power structure of the ancient Moon Holy Land to reshuffle and changing the situation. Lu Ming was well known in the ancient Moon Holy Land. However, after that, Lu Ming disappeared. Now, after so many years, Lu Ming's reappearance naturally caused a stir. Not long after, all the forces in the ancient Moon Holy Land knew that Lu Ming had returned. At this moment, Lu Ming had already arrived at the Dian Elixir Palace and met with Uncle Kong. After not seeing him for so many years, Uncle Kong seemed to have aged even more. His face was filled with wrinkles. Uncle Kong's cultivation base should be at the 2-star Great Emperor realm, but according to him, he had been seriously injured in the last heavenly tribulation, and his origin had been injured. He had yet to recover, so his battle prowess was only slightly stronger than a 1-star Great Emperor, but not by much. Otherwise, the Emperor of the Daluo Heaven sect wouldn't have dared to be so arrogant in front of Uncle Kong. And now, there weren't many years left until Uncle Kong's next heavenly tribulation. With Uncle Kong's current condition, he wouldn't be able to pass it. Hall Master, your cultivation. The moment Uncle Kong saw Lu Ming, he felt that Lu Ming was extraordinary. Although Lu Ming's cultivation base was only at the peak of the true emperor stage, his qi and blood were extremely thick. He was like a prehistoric giant beast, giving off a terrifying feeling. Even Uncle Kong could feel the pressure. This caused Uncle Kong to be extremely shocked, but at the same time he was overjoyed. The more powerful Lu Ming was, the happier he would be. Uncle Kong, I went to the heaven realm a while ago and had a fortuitous encounter. I cultivated an immemorial body cultivator, and my fleshly body is now equivalent to the Great Emperor realm. Lu Ming gave a simple explanation, and Uncle Kong was even more delighted. Uncle Kong, the Mu clan hasn't come looking for trouble all these years, has it? Lu Ming asked. Back then, a great emperor from the Mu clan had died here, and he had always been afraid that the Mu clan would come looking for trouble. The Mu family is here to find trouble and avenge their emperor. However, a powerful force in the divine destiny land has intervened. The Mu family has been holding back all these years. Uncle Kong explained. Lu Ming nodded, the Mu family. It's fine if they don't come. But if they don't give up, I can only make a trip to the Mu family. With that, a storage ring appeared in Lu Ming's hand. He handed it to Uncle Kong and said, Uncle Kong, this is for you. This is... Uncle Kong took it and scanned it with his spiritual sense. He couldn't help but widen his eyes. A fragment of the Great Path. This is a fragment of the Great Path. Hall Master, it's a waste to give such a treasure to an old man like me. You should keep it for yourself. Uncle Kong quickly passed the storage ring to Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled. Uncle Kong, please accept it. One have a lot of Dao fragments. One have enough for myself. However, Uncle Kong still wanted to return the fragment to Lu Ming. But Lu Ming was determined. In the end, Uncle Kong accepted it. Lu Ming gave Uncle Kong a total of 18 Great Dao fragments, which was enough for Uncle Kong to break through to the 3-star Great Emperor, or even the 4-star Great Emperor. As long as Uncle Kong's cultivation broke through, the injuries in his body would naturally heal, and he would be able to pass the next heavenly tribulation with 100% certainty. After that, he chatted with Uncle Kong for a while. The next day, Lu Ming went to meet some old friends. Lu Ming still had some friends in the ancient Moon Holy Land, such as Mu Qingxue, Yi Dongfang, and so on. Their talents were limited, and they did not go to the heaven realm. Lu Ming stayed in the ancient Moon Holy Land for more than 10 days to talk about martial arts with his good friends. With Lu Ming's current realm and understanding of the laws, he was unfathomable to Yi Dongfang and the rest. Lu Ming's casual advice could enlighten them, and they benefited a lot. More than 10 days later, Lu Ming left some resources for Yi Dongfang and the rest, then bade farewell to Uncle Kong and left the ancient Moon Sanctuary, heading towards the Tsang state. The most important thing on his return trip was to return to the Azure continent and take a look at the divine wilderness continent. After that, he would move his family and friends to another cultivation place. A few days after Lu Ming returned to the ancient Moon Holy Land, the news spread to the Hung family and He family of the Heaven Emperor City, as well as the Daluo Heaven sect of the ancient Sun Holy Land. The He family and the Hung family had been mortal enemies, but now they had gathered together to discuss something. Emperor He, Emperor Hung, and Emperor Tianluo were sitting in a great hall of the Hung family. You too, Lu Ming has disappeared for many years. I'm afraid it's not good for us to see him now that he has suddenly reappeared, said the Emperor of the Hung family with a serious expression. Lu Ming can't become a celestial darch. He's not afraid of himself. However, It's troublesome that he can control the celestial thearch's physical body. The Tianluo emperor said. He had seen the power of the heavenly emperor's corporeal body before. Even the two-star great emperor of the Mu family had been killed. Then what should we do? Back then, we all wanted to kill him. We are already mortal enemies with Lu Ming. He will definitely not let us off. The great emperor of the He clan said. The three of them had a serious look on their faces. For a moment, they didn't know what to do. The three of them were one-star great emperors, but Lu Ming controlled the celestial thearch's physical body and could even kill two-star great emperors. Even if they joined forces, they would still be in danger. At this moment, someone outside reported that there was important news. The great emperor of the Hung family had asked that person to come in. Master, young Master Xinghe is back. An old man came in and said excitedly. Xinghe is back. Hurry, please. Emperor Hung was overjoyed. The Hung-Xing River led to the Heaven Realm, and he had been gone for decades. Now that he had returned, he didn't know what realm he would be at. The emperor of the Hung clan was filled with anticipation. The three of them went out together and soon saw the galaxy. A person from the Star River stood with his hands behind his back, giving off a feeling of superiority. The three great emperors are here, just nice. When he saw the three great emperors, Xing Chen only nodded slightly. He no longer had the respect he had in the past. He had seen too many great emperors in the Heaven Realm, including many heavenly emperors. Naturally, he did not have that kind of respect for great emperors. The three emperors of the Hung family were not surprised. When Lu Ming saw the galaxy, he was shocked. True Emperor, Xinghe, you've broken through to the true Emperor realm? The Hung clan emperor said excitedly. I just broke through not long ago. Xinghe nodded with a faint sense of pride on his face. Good haha. The emperor of the Hung family laughed and was extremely excited. On the side, the great emperors of the He family and the Tianluo emperor were filled with envy. To reach the true emperor realm at such a young age, such talent was simply astonishing. In the future, breaking through to the great emperor realm was a sure thing, or even higher. How could people not be envious of the Hung family for having such a genius? Chapter 2383. Xinghe, I, Sun Songqiong, didn't come back with you? The Tianluo emperor said with some anticipation. He was looking forward to seeing his grandson Luo Kangqiang's level. Luo Songqiong is dead, said the Hung-Xing River. What? Emperor Tianluo's heart trembled as his pupils contracted. The next moment, his eyes turned red as he growled. Songqiong is dead? How is that possible? How did he die? He was killed by Lu Ming. In the galaxy. He did not lie about this. Back then, in the Yaoguang ancient city, Luo Songqiong was indeed killed by Lu Ming. Lu Ming, Lu Ming, Lu Ming again. Emperor Tianluo roared. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with endless killing intent. Lu Ming, the two talents of the Daluo Heaven sect, had both died in his hands. He had also been injured because of Lu Ming. Damn it, damn it! The emperor of Tianluo roared in his heart. Of course, he would not care why Luo Songqiong and the others died at Lu Ming's hands. Today, all of you are gathered here because of Lu Ming, right? One heard that Lu Ming has returned to the primordial realm, right? The galaxy continued. Return to the primordial realm? What did that mean? Could it be that Lu Ming has been to the heaven realm before? Emperor Hung's expression changed. Not bad. Xinghe nodded. How is that possible? Didn't they say that Lu Ming can't become a divine emperor and can't go to the heaven realm? Why did he go to the heaven realm? The great emperors of the Hung clan and the He clan were extremely astonished. I don't know how he got to the heaven realm, but he did. Otherwise, how could Luo Songqiong die in his hands? Moreover, Lu Ming has already become a divine emperor in the heaven realm. The river channel of the eternal star had a gloomy expression as he said this. What? Lu Ming has become a martial emperor. How is that possible? He has mastered multiple laws and different ultimate maxims at the same time. Even the celestial Thearch said that he can't become a martial emperor. How can he? The three heavenly emperors from the Hung clan cried out in shock. Not only has he become a great emperor, but Lu Ming's current strength is extremely shocking. He can already fight a great emperor. Xinghe said coldly. Hiss, hiss, hiss. This time, the emperors from the Hung family, He family, and Tianluo all gasped in shock. Not only had Lu Ming become a great emperor, but he could also fight against a great emperor. What kind of freak was he? Their hearts were in turmoil, and they could not calm down. What to do? Emperor Hung, and the others started to get anxious. The more powerful Lu Ming was, the more dangerous it would be for them. Did Lu Ming come back this time to find trouble with them? The more they thought about it, the more anxious they became. In fact, the galaxy was still hiding some things. For example, Lu Ming's combat strength. This was because there were rumors recently that Lu Ming's combat strength was already able to kill a 4-star Great Emperor. The Hung family's Great Emperor, and the rest were afraid that they would be frightened by such terrifying strength. Lu Ming is too abnormal. If he continues to grow, we'll be the ones to die in the future. We have to get rid of him before he's ridiculously strong. The eyes of the galaxy flickered with a cold light. Get rid of him? How? Now that Lu Ming's combat strength is comparable to a great emperor, and he has the celestial thearch's physical body, how can we get rid of him with our strength? The emperor of the Hung clan said anxiously. Emperor He and Emperor Tianluo were the same. They all wanted to kill Lu Ming. However, they could not do it with their abilities. We can find help. Isn't Lu Ming a mortal enemy of the Mu family in the divine fated land? We can use the Mu family's power to get rid of Lu Ming. In the galaxy. Their eyes lit up. Right. Back then, the Mu family sent a great emperor to the ancient moon sanctuary to kill him. Unfortunately, he was killed by Lu Ming with the celestial emperor's body. Moreover, the Mu family's peerless genius Mu Yang also died at Lu Ming's hands. I'm afraid the Mu family wants to get rid of Lu Ming more than we do. If we contact the Mu family, they will definitely take action. Emperor Tianluo said excitedly. Luo Zongqiang was killed by Lu Ming. Emperor Tianluo's killing intent towards Lu Ming was extremely strong. Does Lu Ming have any backing in the Heaven Realm? Will he cause any trouble after killing him? Emperor Hung was more meticulous. Don't worry. I have a master in the Heaven Realm. He is a strong man in the Heavenly Emperor Realm. It is not convenient for him to take action, but he will help us clean up the mess. Nothing will happen. In the galaxy. What? Xinghe, you've taken a celestial emperor as your master? Good, haha. The emperor of the Hung family laughed and was extremely excited. The great emperors of the He family and Tianluo could only be jealous. Since the master of the Eternal Star River was the celestial Thearch, they were much more confident. They began to make preparations and contacted the Mu clan to discuss how to kill Lu Ming. That night, the Hung Xing River came to a secret place in the Heavenly Emperor City and met an old man. The old man was the master of the Star River, a Heavenly Emperor powerhouse. In the Heaven Realm, this old man was known as the 9-Demon Celestial Emperor. Is everything done? The 9-Demon Celestial Emperors asked. It's done. The great emperors of the Hung family, He family, and Daluo Heaven sect will join forces with the Mu family to kill Lu Ming. In the galaxy. That's good. The 9-Demon Celestial Emperors nodded in satisfaction. Master, Lu Ming's performance on the Void God Island was truly shocking. With his current strength, even with the help of the Mu family, it would not be easy to kill Lu Ming. In the galaxy. I didn't intend for them to kill Lu Ming. I just wanted them to test if there's a celestial Thearch following Lu Ming. If there's no celestial Thearch, I'll kill him myself. The 9-Demon Celestial Emperor said, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Master, there are more than a dozen celestial Thearchs behind Lu Ming. Even if we kill him, I'm afraid those celestial Thearchs won't let us off. The Hung family will probably be destroyed as well, said the galaxy, a little conflicted. Foolish, still so soft-hearted even now. How can there be no sacrifice if you want to achieve great things? Is the Hung family more important or is your own future more important? The 9-Demon Celestial Emperor berated. Xing's expression changed, revealing a hint of ruthlessness. I understand, Master. Yes. In order to accomplish great things, a little sacrifice is inevitable. Lu Ming is blessed with great fortune. Along the way, he must have encountered countless fortuitous encounters. As long as I kill him and obtain his fortuitous encounters, I can extract the indestructible ancient scroll from his soul. Then the two of us can find a place to hide. Who will be able to find us? Well, hide and cultivate, and well fight to the death with the evil god tribe and the Heaven Realm. As long as we master our divine arts and possess unrivaled strength, no matter which side controls this world, we'll have a place to stand. The 9-Demon Celestial Emperor said, the cold light in his eyes even more intense. Master, disciple will listen to Master's orders. Xing Chen's eyes were also filled with anticipation. Lu Ming, All your fortuitous encounters will be mine. The galaxy roared in its heart. Chapter 2384. A few days later, Emperor Hung, Emperor Tianluo, and the others contacted the Mu clan, and the two sides naturally hit it off. However, the Mu family appeared to be more cautious. They planned to invite the assassins of the Death God Nation to kill Lu Ming. As such, Emperor Hung, Emperor Tianluo, and the others were naturally overjoyed. With the Death God Nation taking action, it would save them a lot of trouble. Naturally, Lu Ming did not know about all this. He stayed in the ancient Moon Holy Land for more than 10 days, then headed towards the Azure Continent. With his speed, he soon arrived in the Azure Continent. Now, the entire Tsang region was under the control of the Dragon God Valley, and it was a scene of prosperity. Lu Ming flew directly to Dragon God Valley. At the moment, a conference was being held in Dragon God Valley. At the peak of a mountain, there was an empty square. In the middle of the square, there was a fighting stage. On it, two figures were fighting fiercely. If Lu Ming was here, he would definitely recognize the figure on the fighting ring. It was Fatty Kong Jin. The other person was Lu Ming's senior brother, Tian Chue. The two's attacks were both direct, fighting head-on. Boom. Boom. One of them was holding a battle axe, while the other was holding a giant hammer. They kept bombarding, triggering a terrifying force. Kong Jin's cultivation base had improved greatly after not seeing him for so many years. He had already broken through to the Great Sage realm. However, Tian Chue was naturally stronger than Kong Jin. He seemed to be at ease as he completely suppressed Kong Jin. There were many people sitting on the edge of the fighting ring. It was Lu Ming's master, the Cloud Dragon Valley master. There was also Xiao Wan from the Divine Wilderness Continent, the Nine Suns Supreme, Yen Kuangtu, and the others. The Dragon God Valley had sent people to the Divine Wilderness mainland, and the two places had already been connected. Kong Jin and Tian Chue exchanged a few dozen moves. Kong Jin was completely suppressed. In the end, he was struck by Tian Chue's hammer and was sent rolling on the ground, his fat shaking nonstop. I'm done. I'm not your match. Let's fight again after a while. Kong Jin shouted. Weren't you very arrogant before? Ha ha. Tian Chue laughed. Humph, you've been cultivating in the Yuan continent since you were young. Isn't it normal for your cultivation to be stronger than mine? Kong Jin pursed his lips. Haha, fatty, you got beaten up, didn't you? At this moment, a clear and bright laughter came from the sky. Upon hearing this laughter, Fatty's eyes widened. Then he was overjoyed and shouted, Lu Ming. Huh, it's you, Lu Ming. Where have you been all these years? At the same time, the eyes of Tian Chue, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master, Xiao Wan, Xia Zhuyang, and the others also lit up as they looked up into the sky. There was no one in the sky. However, the next moment, a figure flashed and Lu Ming's figure appeared out of thin air. No one could see clearly how Lu Ming appeared. Lu Ming. It's really Lu Ming. Many people were overjoyed and rose into the air. Master, thank you, Senior Zhuyang, Big Brother Yen. Lu Ming cupped his fists and bowed to everyone. Lu Ming, where have you been? You've been gone for more than 20 years and you're nowhere to be seen. Kong Jin pursed his lips and walked over to give Lu Ming a punch. I went to the Heaven Realm, and now I'm back to see you. Lu Ming smiled. Heaven Realm. Kong Jin's eyes lit up. You actually went to the Heaven Realm. How is it? Are there a lot of Heaven Realm experts? There are naturally many experts. Martial emperors are everywhere. Lu Ming said. The others all revealed looks of anticipation. Ming, how's your cultivation? The Cloud Dragon Valley Master asked. Many people also looked at Lu Ming. They had heard rumors that Lu Ming could not become a martial emperor. Don't worry, Master. I've already become an emperor. Lu Ming said with a smile. All right. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master was overjoyed. Congratulations, Alliance Master. Xiao Wan, Xia Zhuyang, and the others were also overjoyed. The scene was filled with joy. Oh right, where are my parents and the rest? Are they still in the Divine Wilderness Continent? Lu Ming asked. No, they came to the Yuan continent. I don't know why, but the passageway in Nine Dragons suddenly collapsed. The original qi in the Divine Wilderness Continent has become thin again. Now, many people from the Dragon Alliance have come to the Yuan continent to cultivate. Xiao Wan explained. Lu Ming nodded. This was within his expectations. Soon after, the news of Lu Ming's return spread quickly. Dragon God Valley was bustling with activity. The people from Dragon God Valley and the Dragon Alliance had also gathered. Not long after, Lu Ming met his parents and some other acquaintances. "I've come back this time to bring you to another place with better conditions to cultivate." It was still the same square, but this time countless people had gathered. Lu Ming stood at the highest point and said, "Change location? Minger, where do you plan to go?" The Cloud Dragon Valley Master asked. "The head of the 9 sacred lands of Mount Yuan, Heavenly Emperor City." Lu Ming spoke word by word. The cultivation environment in the Azure region was still too poor. This time, Lu Ming had returned to the Heavenly Emperor City. Lu Ming would get rid of the Hung family and the He family in Heaven Emperor City and use them to settle the people of Dragon God Valley and Dragon Alliance. Heavenly Emperor City. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master's eyes lit up. Such a sacred land was simply unimaginable to them. Lu Ming could actually bring them to the Heavenly Emperor City? "Now, everyone can enter my small world." As soon as Lu Ming finished speaking, a small world emerged in his dantian. Lu Ming was surrounded by the dazzling divine light of the world. World divine light, true emperor realm. This is a true emperor. The true emperor of the legends. The scene was in an uproar. Everyone was shocked and ecstatic. Lu Ming's father, Lu Yuntian, and mother, Li Ping, were especially overjoyed. The higher Lu Ming's achievements were, the happier they would be. To the people of the Azure continent or the divine wilderness continent, a void emperor was a supreme existence, let alone a true emperor. In the past, they had never even heard of such a thing. The small world grew bigger and bigger. In the end, it became 100 miles wide and covered the sky above the square. "Let's go in." The Cloud Dragon Valley Master, Xiao Wan, and the others were the first to rush into Lu Ming's small world. Behind them, Lu Ming's parents and the others also rushed in. Many figures rushed into Lu Ming's small world and disappeared. Not long after, hundreds of thousands of people entered Lu Ming's small world. When everyone had entered Lu Ming's small world, the small world shrank and flew back into Lu Ming's dantian. Lu Ming's soul force was condensed in the small world, and it was no different from a real person. What a rich origin energy. The origin energy here is even richer than the one in the Azure region. This must be Lu Ming's small world. It's so vast. Everyone looked at it carefully and flew around curiously. Lu Ming's small world was 700,000 miles wide. Although it was considered small and not worth mentioning compared to the big world outside, it was more than enough for him to cultivate here. When Lu Ming led the group to the path understanding ancient tree, everyone was shocked. This was because their cultivation speed had skyrocketed here. Some of them had comprehended something on the spot and made a breakthrough in their cultivation. Holy land for cultivation. Many people didn't want to go out. Chapter 2385. After that, everyone began to make arrangements. The Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley had sent some people to collect some of the Dragon God's resources in the Azure region and put them into Lu Ming's small world. For example, he planted some spiritual herbs and sacred herbs in Lu Ming's small world. Now, Lu Ming's small world had taken shape. After decades of reproduction, green grass was everywhere and the trees had grown up. Some of them were even more than 100 meters tall. There were also all kinds of spiritual and sacred herbs among the mountains. Lu Ming had even bought a large number of low-level demonic beasts and sent them to his small world, making it look lively. It seemed like it was no different from a normal world. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master left a small group of people behind in the Azure region. The rest entered Lu Ming's small world, planning to move. After he was done with the Azure continent, Lu Ming made another trip to the Divine Wilderness continent. Lu Ming's appearance naturally caused a stir in the Divine Wilderness continent. Now that the Divine Wilderness continent was completely under the control of the Dragon Alliance, Lu Ming asked the higher-ups of the Dragon Alliance to gather all the talented people in the Alliance. After asking for everyone's opinion, those who were willing to leave with Lu Ming entered Lu Ming's small world. Naturally, most of them were willing to leave. On the path of cultivation, everyone wanted to climb higher mountains, leave the Divine Wilderness, and enter a better place for cultivation. Who would not be willing? Once everything was ready, Lu Ming left the Divine Wilderness continent and returned to the Azure continent. He did not even look back as he headed towards the Ancient Moon Holy Land. He planned to first go to Ancient Moon Holy Land, then head to Heaven Emperor City to deal with the Hung clan and He clan. However, just as Lu Ming was about to approach the ancient moon sanctuary, his gaze suddenly flickered. This was because Lu Ming could sense a cold, killing intent in the sky. Whoosh! At this moment, a sword light suddenly pierced out of the void at an extremely fast speed. This sword was a one-hit kill. It was fast, accurate, and ruthless. Its power was extremely strong. The sword light contained the aura of the great Tao. The assassin was a great emperor. As soon as the sword light appeared, a terrifying murderous aura gushed out, and the sword light was already approaching Lu Ming's glabella. However, Lu Ming's expression was very calm. He had limited the timing of his attack. Before the other party's sword light could reach his forehead, he had already caught the sword light between his 2 fingers. Then, the sword light was fixed in place, unable to move forward. The person who had stabbed out with the sword was a man in black. He wore a mask on his face, the mask of the Grim Reaper. At this moment, the black-clothed man's pupils contracted sharply. The sure-kill move that he had been preparing for a long time was caught between 2 of Lu Ming's fingers. No matter how he unleashed his power, Lu Ming's fingers and his long sword could not move at all. What a terrifying strength! He understood that Lu Ming's ability was too terrifying. It did not match the information they had received. Retreat! He let out a loud roar, then let go of the long sword in his hand and retreated as fast as he could. He had the cultivation of a great emperor, and he was extremely fast. However, Lu Ming was faster than him. Lu Ming's figure flashed and appeared behind him. He extended a palm and clasped his neck. A terrifying power surged into the man in black. His body was sore and he could not move at all. At this moment, he was extremely frightened. His cultivation base was 1-star Great Emperor. With his cultivation level, he could not put up any resistance at all in Lu Ming's hands. How is this possible? How could Lu Ming's ability be so strong? The Death God Nation, hee, it's too late to leave now. Lu Ming sneered and looked ahead. Then, the muscles in his body trembled and his figure burst out. In an instant, he had covered an unknown distance. There was also a man in black in front of him. He was wearing a mask of the Grim Reaper and was fleeing frantically. This person's cultivation was stronger than the man in black in Lu Ming's hands. He was actually a 2-star Great Emperor. However, he didn't dare to stay any longer. A 1-star Great Emperor was as weak as a baby in Lu Ming's hands. Lu Ming's strength was definitely far above that of a 2-star Great Emperor. He could only run or else he would die. However, escaping was also a dead end. Boom! Lu Ming threw a punch, and a terrifying fist force crushed the void. The man in black, who was running away, felt a fatal threat. He exploded with all his strength and slashed backward. This sword was not weak, but it could not withstand a single blow from Lu Ming's fist force. The fist force crushed over, and the sword chi collapsed. The black-clothed man's body also exploded under this attack and turned into ashes. A 2-star Great Emperor was killed in one hit. The eyes of the man in black in Lu Ming's hands widened. Damn it, I've been tricked. The man roared in his heart. They had received news that Lu Ming's strength was only equivalent to that of a 1-star Great Emperor. However, he had a celestial thearch's physical body, which was extremely powerful. However, in the eyes of these assassins, what they valued was the other party's own strength. External forces were useless. They could kill in one strike, but even with the celestial emperor's corporeal body, they couldn't use it. However, Lu Ming's strength was far beyond that of a 1-star Great Emperor. Even a 3-star Great Emperor wasn't that powerful. He was practically a high-tier Great Emperor. The Death God Nation. Hee, speak. Who sent you to kill me? Lu Ming looked at the man in black in his hands and said coldly, "Don't even think about getting any information from me." The man in black said, "Oh, really? I'm sorry," Lu Ming said indifferently. He used his world energy, and the other party's mask turned to dust, revealing a pale, middle-aged man's face. Boom! Lu Ming suddenly made a move. The power of the law was like a knife and cut off one of the other party's arms. However, the other party only grunted and didn't even frown. These assassins had gone through strict training and had a tough mind. Moreover, the other party was a great emperor. "You don't have to waste your time, just kill me." The other party looked at Lu Ming coldly. "It's not that easy to die," Lu Ming said coldly, then punched the person's dantian. The terrifying power directly tore the person's small world apart and completely crippled his cultivation. With his cultivation crippled, the man let out a furious roar and glared at Lu Ming with bloodshot eyes. To a great emperor, Having his cultivation crippled after a lifetime of bitter cultivation was worse than death. Are you going to tell me or not? Lu Ming said coldly. I won't tell you, just give up. The man in black roared. If you don't tell me, I'll have to search your soul. Having said that, Lu Ming pointed his finger between the other party's eyebrows and a powerful force surged in. He was going to search her soul and find out the secrets she knew. At the same time, Lu Ming wanted to find the headquarters of the Death God Nation and destroy this force in one fell swoop. This was not the first time that this faction had sent people to assassinate him. Back then, before the Battle of the Ten Lands, he had been assassinated by this force, and he had almost died. If Xian Yanqing had not given him the scapegoat demon chief, he would have been in real danger. He had long wanted to get rid of this force. Chapter 2386. Lu Ming pointed his finger between the man's eyebrows. A powerful force and Lu Ming's own soul energy surged into the man's sea of consciousness and rushed to his soul to search it. However, when Lu Ming's soul neared the other party's soul, his expression changed. This was because he felt a terrifying dark power near the other party's soul. When Lu Ming's soul force approached, the dark energy burst out and devoured the man's soul. The man in black let out a shrill scream, and his body struggled violently. In just a few breaths, his soul had disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming's energy was withdrawn, and his expression was a little gloomy. Someone had set up a restriction near the soul of the man in black. Once someone searched his soul, the restriction would explode and destroy the soul of the person being searched. No wonder the Death God Nation was so mysterious. For so many years, no one had been able to find the Death God Nation's headquarters. At this moment, the man in black had completely turned into an idiot. Lu Ming waved his hand and threw the man in black away. He then fell into deep thought. The Death God Nation wouldn't attack me for no reason. Someone must have hired an assassin from the Death God Nation. Who is it? In the primordial realm, the most likely ones are the Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect. However, the Death God Nation is a huge force in the land of divine destiny, with many experts. The Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect don't have such power, so the Mu family. Many thoughts ran through Lu Ming's mind as he deduced the matter. However, one can't rule out the possibility that other forces want to get rid of me, or that it's an expert from the Heaven realm who wants to get rid of me. I have to investigate this matter clearly. The Death God Nation failed to kill me this time, but I guess there will be a next time. I'll find someone to help me. At the thought of this, Lu Ming continued to move forward and entered the ancient Moon Holy Land. He returned to the Dian Elixir Palace to let everyone know that he was back. Then, he used the Divine Breath technique to change his appearance and left the Dian Elixir Palace. He came to the passage he had returned from the Heaven Realm last time. Through the passage, Lu Ming arrived at the Taiqing Heavenly Region and directly sent a voice transmission to Dandan. Dandan was full of tricks and had many means, so she might have a way to find out. At the same time, Lu Ming also sent a voice transmission to Bubbles. Bubbles' current space-time law was already extremely profound, so she might be able to help. Not long after, Dandan and Bubbles arrived one after another. Brother Lu Ming. Bubbles hung around Lu Ming's neck the moment she saw him. Lu Ming, why are you looking for me? Dandan asked casually. It had only been a short time since they last met, but Dandan's cultivation had broken through again and reached 7 Stars' great emperor. I need your help, Lu Ming said. Ha ha, one knew you had something to ask me for help. You've come to the right person. Tell me, what is it? Dandan grinned, looking very proud of herself. Lu Ming immediately told him what had happened. There's actually someone who wants to harm brother Lu Ming. Let's go and destroy them. Bubbles was extremely displeased after hearing that. Brat, you want me to search your soul and find the mastermind behind this and the headquarters of the Death God Nation? Dandan asked. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. It's very difficult to set up a restriction in the soul to search it. Dandan frowned. Didn't you say I found the right person? Lu Ming was full of disdain. Dandan's eyes widened and she said, What? You've underestimated me. Let me tell you, although this matter is difficult, it's not difficult for me. However, I still need the help of this little fellow. Then Dandan looked at Bubbles. You need Bubbles' help? Lu Ming was puzzled. That's right, we'll know when the time comes. Let's go. Dandan said. Wait a minute, just in case. Let's get 2 more helpers. Lu Ming said. Then he sent another message. Not long after, the void flickered and two figures appeared. The two figures were Earth One and Thunder One. Lu Ming was worried that there were powerhouses from the heaven realm involved. Therefore, he had called for Earth One and Thunder One just in case. "Greetings, young master." Earth One and Thunder One bowed. Lu Ming immediately told him what had happened. "Earth One, Thunder One, the two of you enter my small world first to avoid alerting the enemy." Lu Ming said. "All right." Earth One and Thunder One nodded and then entered Lu Ming's small world. Lu Ming asked Dandan to enter the small world as well. He brought Bubbles along and returned to the primordial realm through the passage. He returned to the Dian Elixir Hall quietly. After returning to the Dian Elixir Palace, Lu Ming stayed for more than 10 days before he set off for the Heavenly Emperor City. He was deliberately giving the other party time to react. Lu Ming swaggered around without hiding his appearance and aura. As expected, he encountered another assassination on the way. This time, the Death God Nation had dispatched 3 experts with shockingly high cultivation. One was a 4-star Great Emperor, while the other 2 were 3-star Great Emperors. It was obvious that the last time the Death God server failed in their assassination attempt, the 2 experts had not returned. This made them cautious, and this time they sent out 3 experts. Even a 4-star Great Emperor would be in danger if they were to be assassinated by such a lineup. There was a high chance that they would die. Unfortunately, they had encountered Lu Ming. This battle was also a crushing defeat. The 4-star Great Emperor was killed by Lu Ming with a few punches. The 2 3-star Great Emperors were also severely injured by Lu Ming's punches. One of them had his cultivation crippled by Lu Ming. He had all his movements sealed and was thrown on the ground. Lu Ming interrogated the other party. As expected, the other party did not say a word. With a thought, Dandan's figure appeared. "Dandan, what should we do?" Lu Ming asked. "There are restrictions in their souls, so it's very difficult to search their souls. Once any force approaches their souls will self-destruct, so my method doesn't go through their souls. Every living being's brain has countless tiny meridians. Some meridians are called memory meridians and have the ability to remember. My method is to control the person's consciousness through an array and let Bubbles use the time backtrack technique. Through the person's memory nerves, I can see what happened in the past." Dandan explained. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Indeed, this method was definitely feasible. With Bubbles' control over the space-time law, it was not a problem for her to perform time backtrack. "You guys," on the side, the 3-star Great Emperor who wasn't crippled was shocked. He wanted to struggle, but he was stomped to death by Dandan. Then, Dandan began to set up the formation. One rune after another entered the other's body. A moment later, the other party's eyes became unfocused, as if he was suffering from dementia. "Little guy, attack!" Dandan shouted. Chirp chirp. Bubbles made his move, and a powerful time force enveloped the man in black. Then, with a wave of his hand, images appeared in the void. These images were the memories of the other party. For example, the scene of the other party ambushing Lu Ming and the scene of them on their way here. The images seemed to be turning back time. Chapter 2387. Dandan used the formation to control the other party's consciousness. In addition to the Bubbles time backtrack, it projected the other party's memories. It was as if time had turned back as they were displayed one by one. Not long after, Lu Ming saw an image. It was the black-clothed man himself, and he was discussing some matters with a few others. The great emperor of the Hung family, the great emperor of the Luo dynasty Lu Ming, could tell at a glance that a few of them were the great emperors of the Hung family, the great Luo, and the He family. There were 2 other people that Lu Ming did not recognize. Other than them, the remaining people were the men in black from the Death God Nation. It's indeed the people from the Hung and He families. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a cold glint. Also the Mu clan. Although there was no sound coming from the memory, he could clearly judge what the other party was saying by the shape of their mouths. Hung family, He family, Daluo Heaven sect, Mu family. I didn't go to you, but you tried to kill me time and time again. There's no need for you to stay in this world. Lu Ming said coldly. The memory images continued to flash back and forth. Not long after, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He saw what he wanted to see, and that was how to find the headquarters of the Death God Nation. The Death God Nation's headquarters was actually an underground city, an ancient underground city. Furthermore, this ancient city wasn't stationary but moving. After a period of time, it would move to another place. The way to the underground city was also very complicated. They would not be able to find it if they were just one step away. No wonder no one has found the Death God Nation's headquarters for so many years. Lu Ming muttered, his eyes filled with cold, killing intent. He also wanted to destroy the Death God Nation's headquarters. Suddenly, the man in black let out a loud roar. His entire body twitched, and he fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth. The restriction placed on his soul spirit has been activated. His soul spirit has been destroyed and his nerves are dead. We can't see his memory anymore. Dandan said. Enough. I've seen everything I wanted to see. Lu Ming said. Bubbles finished her work and sat on Lu Ming's shoulder to circulate her energy to recover. Using time backtrack was very draining on Bubbles. Lu Ming, are you going to deal with the Mu family and the Hung family first or the Death God Nation? Dandan asked. Let's destroy the Mu family and the Hung family first so that we don't alert the enemy. The Death God Nation is in no hurry. They definitely don't know that we've found a way to their headquarters. Lu Ming sneered. Immediately, Lu Ming turned the corpses of the Death God Nation's assassins into ashes and continued on his way to the Heavenly Emperor City. It didn't take long for them to arrive at Heavenly Emperor City. When Lu Ming arrived at the Hung family and the He family, he realized that the two major families had already been deserted. Only a few people with low cultivation levels were left to guard the place. They're walking quite fast. They've probably reached the Mu family. Lu Ming sneered, and then his aura burst out. Boom. Lu Ming's aura was like that of a prehistoric beast. His blood and chi were boiling, and it was extremely terrifying. The terrifying aura was like a tsunami that pressed down on the Hung family's palace. The remaining members of the Hung family couldn't withstand this pressure. They knelt on the ground in fear, as if they were facing a god. Who is that? What a terrifying aura. It's Lu Ming. It's Lu Ming. What? Lu Ming, didn't you say that he can't become a great emperor? This aura is simply boundless and unfathomable. I'm afraid Lu Ming has already become a martial emperor. His cultivation is unfathomable. The surrounding people noticed the situation and began to discuss in shock. Obviously, Lu Ming had made some progress in his cultivation and was back to cause trouble for the Hung family. This news spread like a hurricane. In the Heavenly Emperor City, countless figures flew toward the Hung family. The Hung family was surrounded by a tight crowd. Strange. Why isn't anyone from the Hung family coming out? There's not a single strong aura in the Hung family. They're all very weak. Could it be that the Hung family knew that Lu Ming was coming and all the experts in the Hung family have retreated? It's very possible. It looks like the Hung family will be destroyed today. Many people speculated and then became excited. The Hung clan and the He clan were the two strongest forces in the Heavenly Emperor City. They were usually arrogant and domineering with the great emperor in charge. The other forces had to give them face. Now that it was really going to be destroyed, it was simply very satisfying. Everyone in the Hung family, listen up. From now on, the Hung family belongs to me. All of you leave. I'll give you 1 hour. If you don't leave, I'll kill you without mercy. At this moment, Lu Ming spoke, his voice spreading to every corner. They were all weaklings. Lu Ming did not bother to attack them. This was because there were too many of these weak people. There were hundreds of thousands or even millions of them. Lu Ming was not a bloodthirsty person, and he would not kill these weaklings. If he wanted to kill, he would kill the strongest group of people. Let's go. The Hung family members did not hesitate. As soon as Lu Ming finished speaking, they rushed out of the Hung family. Facing an enemy like Lu Ming, it was impossible for them to resist given their cultivation. If they resisted, they would only be met with death. The higher-ups of the Hung family had already left, so there was no need for them to protect the Hung family with their lives. Not long after, not a single person was left. Dandan, help me set up the formation. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Dandan. All right. Dandan nodded, her figure moved, and she flew out. She waved her hands, and endless runes filled the air. This time, it took 3 days to set up the formation. A huge formation was formed, covering the endless palace of the Hung family. With Dandan's current cultivation, it took her 3 days to set up the formation. Unless the Heavenly Emperor came, no one could break it. Then Lu Ming entered the small world and discussed with Xiel Wan, the Valley Master of Cloud Dragon Valley, and the others about sending people to guard the Hung family. In the end, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master led the Dragon God Valley people to guard the He family. What a dense origin chi. The Cloud Dragon Valley Master and the rest came out of Lu Ming's small world and looked around excitedly. They felt the surrounding essential chi and were extremely excited. The Heavenly Emperor City was the top of the 9 cultivation sanctuaries in the Yuan Mountain. The cultivation environment was many times better than the Tsang region. They were naturally excited. Moreover, the Hung family's territory was wide and open. Although there were many people in Dragon God Valley, they could easily stay there. After the arrangements were made, Lu Ming went to the He residence. The He clan was the same as the Hung clan. All the experts had left, and Lu Ming easily occupied the He clan. He had dandan set up a great formation, and then Lu Ming released the people of Dragon God Valley, as well as his parents, to live in the He clan. Although there was the path understanding ancient tree in his small world, the original chi of heaven and earth was far less than that of the Heavenly Emperor City. For the time being, the cultivation environment in Heavenly Emperor City was better. Moreover, Lu Ming did not intend to house so many people in his small world. He had encountered many dangers along the way, and he did not know what would happen in the future. If he were to encounter danger, the people in his small world would be in danger as well. From now on, the businesses of the Hung family and the He family will be under my name. On this day, Lu Ming's voice spread throughout the Heavenly Emperor City. Chapter 2388. On this day, Lu Ming's voice spread throughout the Heavenly Emperor City. A terrifying aura filled every corner of the city. Great Emperor. It was a powerful aura comparable to a great emperor, which was extremely shocking. Everyone was shocked beyond words. Had Lu Ming reached the great emperor realm after not seeing him for a while? The He clan and the Hung clan have committed many evil deeds. It's really satisfying to get rid of them now. Well, definitely help the great emperor. Someone replied, directly addressing Lu Ming as the great emperor. The businesses left behind by the Hung family and the He family were very astonishing. If he did not intimidate them with his powerful strength, there would probably be people fighting for them. However, the Cloud Dragon Valley Master, Xiel Wan, and the others were too weak to compete with these forces in Heavenly Emperor City. Lu Ming could only intimidate them with his powerful strength. With his presence, he believed that these people would not dare to act rashly. It seems like he'll have to send a portion of the Primal Chaos Palace's puppets to guard this place. Lu Ming thought in his heart. The puppets in the Primal Chaos Palace were filled with experts. Other than Earth 1, Gold 1, and the other 9 who were Heaven Emperors, the others were all in the Great Emperor Realm, True Emperor Realm, Void Emperor Realm, Saint Realm, and so on. A few Great Emperor Realm puppets would be enough. Lu Ming stayed in the Heavenly Emperor City for a few days. When the situation here was more or less stabilized, Lu Ming made a trip to the ancient Sun Sacred Land. Like the Hung family and the He family, the Daluo Heaven sect's higher-ups had all left, leaving only some weak ones to guard the sect. Lu Ming had helped Ouyang Wushuang's family to occupy the Daluo Heaven sect's territory. Hung family, He family, Daluo Heaven sect, do you think I can't do anything to you if you hide in the MU family? Just in time, we'll wipe them out in one go. Lu Ming sneered, his eyes flashing with killing intent. He stayed in Heavenly Emperor City for a period of time and left behind a large amount of resources. Then he left Heavenly Emperor City and headed towards the land of divine destiny. However, there was one more person in this line, and that was Qiuyu. He and Qiuyu had not seen each other for many years, and Qiuyu had missed him a lot. Now that they had met again, she naturally couldn't bear to part. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, the journey was smooth. He crossed the Ring Sea and entered the divine fated land. Lu Ming did not stop and headed straight for Aeon City. The MU family was one of the most powerful forces in Aeon City. After Lu Ming, Qiuyu, Bubbles, and Dandan entered Aeon City, they did not make a move immediately. Instead, they found a place to stay. However, Lu Ming did not hide his identity. His purpose was to alert the MU family and gather all the experts of the MU family. Then, he would wipe them out in one go to save himself the trouble. Qiuyu, let's go out for a walk, Lu Ming said to Qiuyu. All right. Qiuyu was all smiles. She pulled Lu Ming's hand and walked out. The two of them strolled around Aeon City and later, they strolled into a huge market. This place was Aeon City's largest market. There were all kinds of treasures inside that dazzled one's eyes. Back then, before the Battle of the 10 Lands, Lu Ming had been to Aeon City. However, due to the pressure of the Battle of the 10 Lands, Lu Ming had not strolled around to his heart's content. It was his first time coming to this market. Chiu, if there's anything you want, just say it. Lu Ming smiled. All right. Chiu blinked her big eyes a few times and then started to look around. After that, they walked into a divine weapon shop that sold all kinds of combat weapons, such as saint weapons, Illusionarv Emperor weapons, and true Emperor weapons. Young master, I want that. Chiu pointed at a hairpin after looking at it for a while. This hairpin was made from a special jade and looked very exquisite. This lady has good eyes. This hairpin is made of 10,000-year-old warm jade. When worn, not only can it beautify one's face, it is also helpful for cultivation and comprehension of nomological laws. It is a top-notch illusionary sovereign weapon. A tall and thin middle-aged man said with a smile. How many raw gemstones? I want them. Lu Ming said. 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones. The tall and thin middle-aged man smiled. 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones? That's too expensive. Young master, I don't want it anymore. Chiu was shocked when she heard that. 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones were the highest grade of raw stones. Even the great emperor and the heavenly monarch used them for cultivation, so it was clear how precious they were. 5,000 yuan was indeed not a low price. However, to Lu Ming, 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones were just a drop in the ocean. Silly girl, since you've taken a fancy to it, I'll buy it no matter how expensive it is. Lu Ming smiled and waved his hand. A storage ring appeared, and he threw it to the tall and thin middle-aged man. Shopkeeper, 5,000 supreme-grade raw stones. The tall and thin middle-aged man took it and scanned it with his spiritual senses. He smiled and then passed the hairpin to Lu Ming. Lu Ming had just received the hairpin when a voice was heard. Wait a minute, I want this hairpin. As the voice rang out, a group of people walked over. The leader of the group was a young woman. She was very beautiful, but she was not as beautiful as Chiu. Behind the young woman was a young woman dressed as a maidservant and two old men. The shopkeeper's expression changed when he saw the woman. He then smiled apologetically and said, So it's Miss Dongfang. It's an honor to have you visit our shop. Shopkeeper, sell me that hairpin. The young woman spoke directly with a commanding tone. Miss Dongfang, you're too late. This hairpin has already been bought by this young master. The shopkeeper smiled wryly. What? The young woman hummed coldly and looked at Lu Ming with a faint arrogance. She raised her neck and continued to speak in a commanding tone. Give me this hairpin. I'll give you how many raw stones you need. I'm sorry, this hairpin is not for sale. Lu Ming smiled. You're not selling? The young woman's eyes narrowed, and a look of displeasure flashed across her face. You want to raise the raw gemstones, right? Tell me, how many raw gemstones do you want? I said I'm not selling. I'm not short of raw stones. Lu Ming said. Kid, what did you say? You probably don't know who my young miss is, right? My young miss is Dongfang Shuiyu, the #1 heaven's pride in the divine fated land, and Xian Lin's fiancée. Do you know her? The maidservant behind the young lady jumped out and chided, looking at Lu Ming threateningly. The #1 genius of the divine land? Lu Ming muttered. It seemed that Tianming, Yuan Xin, and the others had been in the heaven realm for decades. A new batch of heaven's favorites had appeared in the land of divine destiny. Are you afraid now? Let me tell you, young master Xianlin is the young master of Aeon City's powerful force, the Xian family. If you don't think that you are worthy of my praise today, don't even think about walking out of Aeon City. That servant girl continued to clamor. As for the young woman, Dongfang Shuiyu, she revealed a proud expression. Xianlin, Dongfang Shuiyu, I've never heard of you. You can get lost now. Lu Ming said in a serious tone. He then turned around and walked toward Chiu. Chiu, I'll help you put it on. Lu Ming smiled gently and then put the hairpin on Chiu's head. Chapter 2389, Challenging Lu Ming. Chiu was already extraordinary, and with the hairpin, she looked even more beautiful. Coupled with the blush on her cheeks, she was even more moving. Dongfang Shuiyu, on the other hand, was trembling with anger. Lu Ming actually told her to get lost? Who was she? She was the pride of her generation, and her fiancé was the #1 pride of the divine land. Lu Ming actually told her to get lost? He was looking for death. He was looking for death. Dongfang Shuiyu roared in her heart. Especially after seeing Chiu's beauty, her jealousy grew to the point of madness. Women were naturally jealous. As for Dongfang Shuiyu, she had always been proud of her beauty. But now, when she was compared to Qiuyu, she was completely overshadowed. Bitch, you dare to wear my hairpin? It'll tear your face apart. Dongfang Shuiyu let out a shrill cry, and her body shot out like a bolt of lightning towards Qiuyu. Her claws were like blades as she slashed towards Qiuyu's face. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted coldly and slapped him. Lu Ming's speed was so fast that Dongfang Shuiyu could not dodge at all. She was directly slapped in the face by Lu Ming. Pa! A crisp sound rang out, and Dongfang Shuiyu screamed out in pain. Her body flew out and fell to the ground, her face swollen. Of course, Lu Ming had shown mercy. Otherwise, she would not even leave behind ashes. Dongfang Shuiyu was dumbfounded, and so were the others in the shop. Lu Ming actually dared to slap Dongfang Shuiyu. Did he not want to live? Kill him, kill this bastard. Dongfang Shuiyu was stunned for a moment before she reacted and screamed. Brat, you're looking for death. Kneel down and admit your mistake immediately. There were two elders who had followed Dongfang Shuiyu. At this moment, one of them let out a loud shout and pounced towards Lu Ming. A terrifying aura burst out with a loud bang, and a powerful pressure pressed towards Lu Ming. At the side, the others retreated. A martial supreme. This old man was a martial emperor, but he was only a one-star void emperor, which was the weakest martial emperor. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted coldly and kicked the other party's face at lightning speed. The old man let out a blood-curdling screech and was sent flying, following in Dongfang Shuiyu's footsteps. His face was now as swollen as a pig's head. So strong. Everyone was shocked. To be able to defeat a one-star great emperor with a single move. This kind of battle prowess was extraordinary. Moreover, Lu Ming did not look very old. There were not many people in the entire Divine Destiny land who could reach the martial emperor realm at this age. Get lost. If you don't get lost, kill. Lu Ming shouted coldly, his cold killing intent exuding. Lu Ming, he's Lu Ming. Suddenly, someone on the side shouted. Back then, Lu Ming had won first place in the Battle of the Ten Lands, and his reputation was well known. Many people had seen Lu Ming before, and now he was finally recognized. What? Lu Ming? Which Lu Ming? Of course, it's the Lu Ming who dominated the first Battle of the Ten Lands and won first place. It's him. He's been missing for decades. I didn't expect to see him again. All of a sudden, the people around them started to discuss and size up this legendary figure curiously. Lu Ming's reputation was very well known. As long as one's cultivation was higher, they would have heard of the Divine Land. The first Battle of the Ten Lands was top. He was extremely talented, but he couldn't become an emperor. So you're Lu Ming, a useless body that can never become an emperor. How dare you hit me? Don't leave if you're so capable. I'll tear you into 1,000 pieces. At this moment, Dongfang Shuiyu screamed again. Oh, is that so? I'd like to see how you're going to dismember my body into 1,000 pieces. I'll wait for you here. Lu Ming said and sat down on a chair at the side. You useless body, trash, just you wait. Dongfang Shuiyu let out a few shrieks and hurriedly left with her men. Young Master Lu, you'd better leave quickly. Dongfang Shuiyu will definitely go to the Xian family to look for Xian Lin. The Xian family is one of the strongest forces in Aeon City, and their strength is unfathomable. The shopkeeper hurriedly warned. It's fine. Lu Ming smiled. It's good that the matter is blown up so that the MU clan can make proper preparations. Lu Ming wanted to give the other party time to prepare. Seeing that he couldn't persuade him, the shopkeeper shook his head and retreated. Lu Ming and Qiuyu started to wait leisurely. The news here quickly spread. The champion of the Ten Lands battle, Lu Ming, had reappeared. Furthermore, he had even slapped Dongfang Shuiyu in public. This was no small matter. Dongfang Shuiyu's fiancé was the #1 genius of the Divine Land. Would the two of them clash? Moreover, the Xian family would not let the matter rest. How should Lu Ming deal with this? Immediately, countless people who had heard the news rushed over and surrounded the shop to take a look. Xian Lin is here. Lu Ming did not have to wait long before he heard a cry of surprise from outside. A group of people walked through the air. The leader was a young man. He was very handsome and wore a black iron battle suit. He looked very mighty. This man was the #1 genius in the divine fated land, Xian Lin. Dongfang Shuiyu was right beside Xian Lin. At this moment, her face had already swollen and was covered in tears. She looked as if she had suffered a great injustice. There were some people behind them, all of whom were experts from the Xian family. Lu Ming, get out here. Xianlin came to the door of the shop and shouted. A 3-star illusionary emperor, about 50 years old, far younger than Ming and the others. Lu Ming did not go out. With a sweep of his spiritual senses, he knew Xianlin's cultivation and age. A 3-star illusionary emperor at the age of 50 was indeed far inferior to Ming Yuan Xin and the others. Qiuyu, let's go and meet this number 1 genius. Lu Ming smiled and walked out of the shop with Qiuyu. All of a sudden, everyone's eyes were on Lu Ming. Lu Ming. Xianlin's gaze also fell on Lu Ming. How do you want to solve this? Lu Ming looked at Xianlin. Fight me. Xianlin stepped out and his voice spread far and wide, revealing a strong battle intent. Many people's eyes lit up. Xianling wanted to challenge Lu Ming. One was the current number 1 heaven's favorite, while the other was the number 1 heaven's favorite from decades ago. Who was the stronger one between the two? Who do you think is stronger, Lu Ming or Xianlin? It's hard to say, but I think it's Xianlin. Lu Ming can't become a great emperor. His cultivation is stuck at the quasi-great emperor realm for his entire life. No matter how long it has been, it's difficult for him to improve. According to Lu Ming's strength back then, he's not Xianlin's match. Yes, I think so too. Many people were discussing and felt that Lu Ming was not Xianlin's match. The Celestial Arch had personally said that Lu Ming could not become a martial emperor. There was no mistake about this. Although Lu Ming was strong in the past, he could only fight with a 2-star illusionary emperor. On the other hand, Xianlin's cultivation was at the 3-star illusionary emperor level. The law he controlled was also an ultimate law. His combat strength was extremely powerful, and it was not a problem for him to suppress Lu Ming in the past. This was a collision between the strongest geniuses of 2 generations. In the past, there was no comparison. It was because Lu Ming could not break through in his cultivation that this happened. Chapter 2390, Scaring Off a Great Emperor. Fight me? I don't want to be a bully. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. Xianlin's cultivation base was not worth mentioning in his eyes. Lu Ming, you don't dare to fight, do you? Xianlin stepped out in an overbearing manner. Back in the Battle of the 10 Lands, he was still young and his cultivation was not high enough. He could not compete with Lu Ming and the others, which was a regret. He was very ambitious. He wanted to defeat Lu Ming to prove that he could also become the number 1 prodigy in the world if he were in that era. If you want to fight, then I'll fight with you. Qiuyu said. Humph, Lu Ming, are you going to hide behind a woman? You're indeed a cripple, a piece of trash. You actually won RHE title of world champion in the first battle of the 10 Lands. What a joke. Attack, I'll defeat you in 10 moves. Xianlin shouted coldly and continued to step forward. His powerful aura pressed down on Lu Ming. Finally, he punched out and a giant turtle as large as a mountain was formed. It pressed down on Lu Ming. If you want to fight, then I'll play with you. Let's go, Lu Ming said indifferently. He took a step forward and rushed toward the Xian forest. Boom. Lu Ming didn't make a move. His figure rushed past, and the giant tortoise that Xianlin attacked exploded. Lu Ming's figure didn't stop and appeared in front of Xianlin in an instant. The two of them were less than a meter apart. Xianlin's pupils contracted rapidly as he roared in fear and retreated frantically. However, he suddenly realized that he couldn't move his body. He couldn't move at all. The space around him seemed to have been frozen. Lu Ming stretched out a hand and clasped Xianlin's throat. Everyone at the scene couldn't help but widen their eyes. What was going on? He did not see Lu Ming make a move, and there was no powerful aura permeating the air. How did Lu Ming grab Xianlin's throat? It was as if Xianlin had been waiting there motionlessly for Lu Ming to do it. No one could figure it out. You want to challenge me with your strength? Lu Ming spoke indifferently, his voice full of disdain. Xianlin struggled madly, and his eyes were filled with fear. Get lost! Lu Ming swung his arm, and Xianlin's body directly smashed into the ground. With a loud bang, a huge pit appeared on the ground. Xianlin lay in the pit and spat out a large mouthful of blood. The others were dumbfounded. One move, no, Lu Ming did not even make an official move, and Xianlin was defeated. He could not even withstand one blow. Wasn't Lu Ming unable to become a martial emperor? Why did he have such strong combat abilities? Could it be that Lu Ming had already become a martial emperor? Thinking of this, many people's hearts beat wildly. Lu Ming, who was below the rank of a martial supreme, had mastered many types of laws and even different ultimate laws. He was really going against the heavens. The celestial arch had asserted that Lu Ming would not be able to break through and become a martial emperor for his entire life. However, if Lu Ming could create a miracle and defy the heavens to become a divine emperor, how powerful would his combat strength be? Lu Ming, I want you dead. Kill him. Kill him. Below, Xian Lin shouted hysterically. As the #1 genius of the divine land, he had never lost a battle against his peers. He had never known what defeat felt like. Earlier, he had come in a domineering manner and said that he would defeat Lu Ming in 10 moves. However, he was easily defeated by Lu Ming now and could not even withstand a single blow. He could not accept such an outcome at all. He was so mad with hatred that he could not wait to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. The flowers in Rhe greenhouse can't stand the wind and waves. Lu Ming shook his head, showing a strong sense of disdain. It seemed that Lu Ming's generation was the true golden generation. There were many geniuses and they competed with each other. Many of them were very intelligent and had experienced many storms. As for this generation, it seemed like there were a lot fewer geniuses. This Xian Lin's path had been too smooth. Although his talent was not bad, his mind was not good. He was far inferior to Tianming and the others. The moment he met with failure, the moment he met with a setback, he immediately couldn't take it. He couldn't bear it. Kill him. Xian Lin roared. Lu Ming's words pierced his heart. Lu Ming, kneel down and accept your death. The few people who had followed Xian Lin here charged at Lu Ming, exuding a terrifying aura. True Emperor. 3 of them were true Emperor realm experts. They were surrounded by world divine light and looked like gods. Kneel down. The terrifying pressure of the true Emperor realm pressed down on Lu Ming, trying to force him to his knees. Bet your sister. All of you get lost. Lu Ming shouted and threw a punch. The air exploded, and the terrifying fist force rushed toward the 3 true emperors. The 3 true emperors were almost scared to death when they felt Lu Ming's terrifying fist force. That level of power was not what they could contend with at all. It was too late for them to retreat. Boom! As the fist force crushed over, the 3 people's bodies exploded and turned into flying flames. The scene suddenly quieted down. There was no sound at all. Everyone's eyes were wide open in disbelief. 3 true emperors. That was 3 true emperors. They were actually turned into ashes by Lu Ming with 1 punch. How is this possible? How could Lu Ming's combat strength be so powerful? Dongfang Shuiyu stood there in a daze, her little mouth slightly open, as if she was in a dream. Xian Lin was also stunned. His eyes were filled with fear and disbelief. I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming looked at Xian Lin and stomped his foot. A huge foot condensed by the power of the world stomped down on Xian Lin. Ah! Xian Lin was so frightened that he kept screaming. At this moment, a figure flashed as fast as lightning and swept Xian Lin away before Lu Ming's huge foot could land. There was a flash in Rhe sky in the distance, and an old man with white hair and a white robe appeared. He was holding on to Xian Lin, who was still in shock. Great Emperor, Lu Ming muttered. It's one of the elders of the Xian family, a great emperor. The great emperor of the Xian family has appeared. I guess he's going to deal with Lu Ming. Lu Ming is still too impulsive. The Xian family is one of the strongest forces in Aeon City. They are unfathomable. Let's see how Lu Ming will deal with the great emperor. Some people recognized the old man. After Xian Lin reacted, he was overjoyed. Founding Elder, haha, you're here just in time. Kill Lu Ming for me. Kill that bastard. Xian Lin shouted. Today, Lu Ming had embarrassed him. He must kill Lu Ming to vent the hatred in his heart. The elder of the Xian family exuded a powerful aura. It was the pressure of a great emperor. Within a radius of 10,000 miles, it was filled with a terrifying pressure. Some of the weaker cultivators had to kneel down. Ordinary people were too weak to fight against great emperors. It seems like you want to die too. To everyone's surprise, Lu Ming's expression was calm, and he spoke indifferently. He was actually threatening the great emperor. Everyone was dumbfounded. They had thought that Lu Ming would be afraid and terrified when he faced the great emperor and would run away. He did not expect Lu Ming to threaten the great emperor. Lu Ming's eyes flickered with a cold glint as he swept a glance at the other party. The elder's heart started to beat wildly, as if he was being stared at by a terrifying prehistoric beast. In the next moment, he was going to be torn apart and killed. This feeling shocked him greatly. What's going on? What a terrifying feeling. Could it be that Lu Ming's abilities are already far above mine? No, he'll retreat today. The Xian family elder's mind turned quickly, but he didn't dare to make a move. Chapter 2391. Killing their way into the Mu family. Retreat. The elder of the Xian family bellowed as his power swept Xianlin and the dumbfounded Dongfang Shuiyu backward. In an instant, they disappeared. They retreated? All the onlookers were dumbfounded. They thought that the elder of the Xian family would make a move. They didn't expect him to retreat. Why would the elder of the Xian family retreat? They were afraid of Lu Ming and did not dare to take action? That's impossible, right? No one could figure it out. Lu Ming did not pursue him. His purpose in Aeon City was not the Xian family, but the Mu family. If the Xian family didn't want to die, he wouldn't care. The Mu family should have gathered all their forces this time. I hope the Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect are also here. I didn't come here in vain. Lu Ming looked in the direction of the Mu family and chuckled. In the crowd, some people's eyes flickered, and then they left the place. These people were naturally the Mu clan. Following that, Lu Ming and Qiu Yu strolled around for a while before returning to their residence. The news of Lu Ming's return, how he defeated Xianlin with one move, how he killed 3 true emperors with one punch, and how he even scared off one of the Xian family's great emperors spread rapidly. Not only did it spread throughout Aeon City, but it also spread throughout the Divine Mandate land, shocking countless people who heard the news. Lu Ming had broken through. Many people knew that Lu Ming had already broken through to the martial emperor realm. The celestial thearch's claim had been shattered. Would the Xian family make a move on Lu Ming next? Many people were guessing. Lu Ming's residence naturally attracted more attention. Many people were constantly paying attention to Lu Ming's residence and the progress of the situation. There were even many people who had rushed over from other places. In the meeting hall of the Xian family, a group of people were discussing something. These were the higher-ups of the Xian family. Most of them were great Emperor realm experts. Kill. We must kill Lu Ming. Elders, please help. Xianlin shouted. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with malevolent killing intent. During this period of time, the news that he was easily defeated by Lu Ming spread like wildfire. His reputation had plummeted and was no longer what it used to be. He hated Lu Ming to the core and could not wait to grind his bones and scatter his ashes. I also feel that we should kill Lu Ming. Someone else said. Ninth brother, tell us why you retreated. At the head of the table was an extremely old man. At this moment, he was looking at the elder who had saved Xianlin. The elder from before was one of the 9 elders of the Xian family. The 9 elders frowned and pondered for a while before saying, I can sense a terrifying aura from Lu Ming. I have a feeling that if I attack, I will die in his hands. What? The others were shocked, and Xianlin's eyes widened in disbelief. How is that possible? Could Lu Ming be a threat to the emperor? Even if he has broken through to the martial emperor realm, it's impossible for him to break through to the great emperor realm so quickly. Impossible. Xianlin couldn't accept this and shook his head. Could it be that Lu Ming has really reached such a shocking level? The other doyens all muttered, their gazes solemn. The higher one's cultivation was, the more accurate one's intuition would be. A great emperor's intuition would usually not be wrong. We can't measure Lu Ming with common sense. Once he breaks through to the martial supreme realm, he'll be like a dragon in the sea. There will be no restraints. It's not impossible for him to have the combat strength of a great emperor. I suggest that we do not attack Lu Ming for the time being. We should observe the situation first. The oldest elder said. I agree. I also agree. The other elders nodded. Although the remaining doyens and Xianlin wanted to attack, most of the doyens didn't agree to do so, so they had no choice. Time flew by and 5 days passed. Lu Ming's residence. Brother Lu Ming, I found out that the people from the Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect are all in the Mu family. Also, almost all the great emperors of the Mu family have returned to the Mu family headquarters. They seem to be on guard. Bubbles conveyed some information to Lu Ming. In the past few days, Bubbles and Dandan had gone out to investigate the Mu family and finally had some results. Lu Ming arrived at Aeon City. Needless to say, the 2 groups of assassins from the Death God Nation had already failed. Lu Ming's abilities shocked the Mu family. It was natural for them to gather experts to deal with the Mu family. It's time. The Mu family, the Hung family, the He family, and the Dalio Heaven sect will all be destroyed today, Lu Ming said coldly. He then strode toward the Mu family. Lu Ming's actions naturally alerted those who were paying attention to him. Where is Lu Ming going? His body is full of killing intent. Is he going to kill his way to the Xian family? That's impossible, right? No, this direction is not the Xian family. In the dark, many people were discussing animatedly and secretly following behind Lu Ming. Not long after, mountains and countless palaces appeared in front of them. This was the Mu clan. Boom. Lu Ming suddenly took a step forward. In the sky, endless energy gathered and formed a giant foot that covered the sky. It stomped down on the Mu family headquarters. The mountains trembled under the giant foot. Lu Ming actually wanted to attack the Mu family? All the people who had followed him were dumbfounded and shocked. The Mu family was even stronger than the Xian family. What shocked them even more was Lu Ming's strength. That kick was like the kick of a god. It was unbelievably powerful. Great Emperor. This was the strength of a great emperor. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. Lu Ming actually had the strength of a great emperor. No wonder the patriarch of the Xian family had retreated. Figures flew out of the Mu family's palace. They were terrified by the giant foot and flew everywhere. Impudent. A long howl came from the Mu family. A huge palm flew out from the Mu family and turned into a huge palm that reached the sky, clashing with Lu Ming's huge foot. Boom. The mountains trembled and the void collapsed. A terrifying force swept in all directions. The giant foot and hand disappeared together. A middle-aged man appeared in the sky above the Mu family. His aura was extremely terrifying. The Mu family's head. In the distance, someone muttered as he recognized this person. Oh my god, the Mu family's master is said to be a 3-star great emperor. He only managed to block one of Lu Ming's attacks just now, and Lu Ming has already become so powerful. Quick, spread the news. Something big has happened. Lu Ming is going to attack the Mu family. Hurry up. Many people were discussing in shock, and the news spread out one by one. Aeon City immediately exploded, and countless people rushed toward the Mu family. When the Xian family received the news, they were also dumbfounded. They then sent experts to the Mu family to pay attention to the development of the situation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After the Mu family had appeared, more and more figures rushed out from the depths of the Mu family. Each of these figures exuded a vast and endless aura. The pressure of the Great Path filled the world. These were all Great Emperor realm experts. There were more than 20 of them. The Mu family had more than 20 Great Emperors. Chapter 2392, Shocking Move. More than 20 Great Emperors from the Mu family stood in a line. Their auras were as vast as the ocean, filling the entire Aeon City with a terrifying pressure. This lineup made the surrounding onlookers' faces change, and their hearts tremble. However, Lu Ming's expression was calm, as if he didn't see so many great emperors. His gaze swept across the Mu family, and he frowned. There's no need to hide anymore. Those families, come out. The families he was talking about were the Hung family, the He family, and the Dalio Heaven sect. However, the Mu family master sneered and did not answer Lu Ming's question. Instead, he asked, Lu Ming, you attacked the Mu family for no reason today. Do you really think that the Mu family is easy to bully? If you don't give me an explanation today, don't even think about leaving. Don't you know why I'm here? You, the Mu family, the Hung family, the He family, and the Dalio Heaven sect hired people from the Death God Nation to kill me. It's time to settle the score today. Lu Ming's voice was heard by everyone. What? The Mu family had hired people from the Death God Nation to kill Lu Ming? Is that true? It's very possible. Back then, Lu Ming killed the Mu family's most powerful genius, Mu Yang. This is a blood feud. How could the Mu family let this matter rest? Indeed. I'm afraid it's true. Otherwise, Lu Ming wouldn't have come to the Mu family. Lu Ming is really bold to come to the Mu family on his own. What do you think will be the result today? It's hard to say. If Lu Ming wasn't confident, he wouldn't have dared to come here. However, the Mu family has been around for countless years, and their foundation is unfathomable. The outcome can't be predicted. Lu Ming's words caused an uproar. Many people were discussing it. Nonsense. If the Mu family wants to kill you, we don't need to hire people from the Death God Nation. Any one of them can kill you. The head of the Mu family sneered. Anyone can kill me? Then I'd like to see if your Mu family has the ability to do so. Lu Ming sneered. Then he stepped out and headed toward the Mu family. Bang! Bang! With every step Lu Ming took, the void trembled and rays of light shone from his body. It was the radiance of the laws. 1, 2, 3. All sorts of laws appeared. When more than 10 laws appeared, the scene was deathly silent. Everyone was tongue-tied and their eyes almost popped out. Heavens, what did the heavens just see? Chaos law, death law, life law, and reincarnation law. He has mastered 4 supreme laws. No, that's not right. There are also eternal laws, void laws, primordial chaos laws, and space-time laws. 8. He controls 8 supreme laws. There are still 9 kinds of king path laws and 17 kinds of laws. He has mastered 17 kinds of laws. Furthermore, he has cultivated all 17 types of nomological laws to the limit and reached the 3rd realm. How is this possible? How is this possible? He's abnormal. He's abnormal. When they saw Lu Ming displaying all the laws, everyone in all directions screamed hysterically, unable to control their emotions. This could no longer be described as shock. Their emotions were 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times stronger than shock. The truth of cultivation was that a person could only master one type of ultimate law at most. Not everyone could master an ultimate law. Those who could master one were the top geniuses in the world. But now there was a person who had not only mastered an ultimate maxim, but it was not just 1, 2, or 3, but 8. This was not only breaking the truth, but also trampling the truth to pieces. It was easy to imagine the feelings of everyone. The people of the Mu family were also dumbfounded. Their eyes were wide open, and they were horrified. In the depths of the Mu family, the masters of the Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect, who were hiding in the dark, were almost scared to death when they saw this. Lu Ming was shrouded in 17 different lights. He stood in the air like a god who had descended to the mortal world. He was extraordinary. Come, let's see which one of you can kill me. Lu Ming's eyes lit up as he stared at the people of the Mu family. So what if you can control 17 types of laws? You're still only in the true emperor realm. I'll kill you. From the Mu family, a burly old man stepped out like a lion. This old man's cultivation had reached the 3-star great emperor realm. In the end, the Mu family did not dare to underestimate Lu Ming. Although Lu Ming seemed to be at the true emperor realm, he had mastered 17 types of laws. Most importantly, he had 8 ultimate laws. With so many laws combined, Lu Ming's combat strength could not be measured with common sense. It was possible that he could fight a 1-star great emperor or even a 2-star great emperor. However, they had sent out a 3-star great emperor. The difference between a true emperor and a 3-star great emperor was too great. They did not believe that Lu Ming could kill a 3-star great emperor. Even if a 3-star great emperor was no match for him, he could at least keep his life and test Lu Ming's true combat strength. Bang! Bang! The elder, who was as strong as a lion, had a wild aura. He stepped in the air and his speed increased as he charged toward Lu Ming. Slash! All of a sudden, a saber appeared in the elder's hand, and he slashed it at Lu Ming. The saber light was shocking and lit up the sky, as if it was going to split Aeon City's sky in half. Kill! Lu Ming said indifferently. Before he could finish his sentence, a long spear appeared in his hand. It was a long spear condensed by the law and the power of the world. The muscles on Lu Ming's arms bulged, and he threw the long spear out. Whoosh! The long spear flew out like a ray of light, faster than lightning. The long spear not only contained the power of Lu Ming's world force, the power of the law, but also the power of his physical body. The moment the spear collided with the saber light was destroyed. The speed of the spear did not decrease at all, and it continued to stab toward the opponent. The Mu family's 3-star great emperor did not expect that his all-out attack would be so vulnerable in Lu Ming's hands. He was stunned for a moment. His fate had been decided. Pfft! Lu Ming's long spear pierced through his dantian and destroyed his small world. He flew out with his body and into the depths of the Mu clan, crashing into a hall. Boom! The palace exploded, and a large group of people flew out from it. These people were from the Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect. The Mu clan's 3-star great emperor was impaled by Lu Ming's spear and nailed to the ground, screaming in pain. My cultivation base, my cultivation base. A shrill scream reverberated through the entire area. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Gasps could be heard in the audience. A three-star great emperor was pinned to the ground by Lu Ming with one move, and his cultivation was crippled. This scene was too impactful. A three-star great emperor couldn't even withstand one blow. How was this possible? Had Lu Ming's combat strength already reached such a terrifying level? Everyone felt like they were in a dream. In the crowd far away, there were also people from the Xian family watching. There were a few elders, including Xian Lin and Dongfang Shuiyu. At this moment, they were completely petrified and kept gasping. How is that possible? How is that possible? Xian Lin seemed to be in a daze as he kept muttering. He had crippled a three-star great emperor with one move. Such strength was. Chapter 2393, Massacre. The people from the Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect are here. Lu Ming looked at the people from the Hung family and the He family, the corners of his lips curling into a cold smile. The people of the Mu family, Hung family, He family, and Daluo Heaven sect all looked extremely shocked. Lu Ming, you destroyed the cultivation of the Mu family's emperor for no reason. Today, you must pay the price. Mu clan emperor roared. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, more than 20 great emperors of the Mu family attacked at the same time. There were 1-star great emperors and 5-star great emperors. When they attacked together, the void collapsed instantly, and terrifying attacks were launched toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's combat strength was far beyond their imagination. They were terrified. They wanted to kill Lu Ming in an instant and make him disappear without a trace. Buzz! Lu Ming's muscles vibrated suddenly, vibrating billions of times in an instant. The void shattered and Lu Ming's figure burst out. The moment Lu Ming charged out, he used the 6-feathered divine wings to increase his speed. In an instant, he dodged the joint attack of his opponents and rushed toward the 20-odd great emperors of the Mu family. Gather, gather! The master of the Mu family roared. More than 20 great emperors of the Mu family gathered together in a circle. This way, they could prevent Lu Ming from breaking them one by one. Is there any use in joining hands? Lu Ming's cold voice was heard, and a long spear appeared in his hand again. However, this long spear was not condensed by Lu Ming's law. It was a real long spear. Great Desolation Spear. Heaven Dao Soldiers. Although Lu Ming could not unleash the power of the Heaven's Path in the Heaven Dao Soldier, the Great Desolation Spear's material was sturdy and immortal. It allowed Lu Ming to unleash all his strength, and also increased his combat strength. Boom! Lu Ming held the Great Desolation Spear and unleashed his power to the extreme, sweeping the spear out. The sky exploded continuously as the Great Desolation Spear swept up endless void storms and blasted towards the 20-odd great emperors of the Mu clan. It was so powerful that it looked like it was going to crush all the great emperors of the Mu clan. Let's join hands! The master of the Mu family roared. All the emperors of the Mu family joined forces and launched attacks at Lu Ming. Among the more than 20 great emperors of the Mu family, there were quite a few 5-star great emperors with astonishing strength. With so many people working together, they could definitely fight against a 6-star great emperor. Boom! Their attacks collided with Lu Ming's long spear, resulting in a terrifying boom and a shockwave that swept in all directions. Retreat, retreat! The spectators all retreated in a frenzy to create enough distance. Most of the people who were watching the battle did not have the cultivation of a great emperor. They did not dare to get too close. Otherwise, if they were swept up by Lu Ming and the others, they would only be dead. After the boom, Lu Ming's body trembled and he retreated. However, the more than 20 powerhouses of the Mu family were also forced to retreat. Those with weaker cultivations even trembled and spat out blood. They were severely injured. Lu Ming's current combat strength, physical body, world energy, law energy, and the Great Desolation Spear were enough to compete with a 6-star great emperor. How could those 1-star and 2-star great emperors withstand a head-on collision? Again, Lu Ming took a few steps back and stomped on the void to stabilize his body. He held the Great Desolation Spear and once again charged at the Mu clan emperor. Boom! This time, Lu Ming held the Great Desolation Spear with both hands and smashed it down with the force of Mount Tai. Boom! The Great Desolation Spear rapidly grew in size and became as heavy as a mountain, as if it could crush everything. More than 20 great emperors from the Mu family roared and used their strongest power to attack the Great Desolation Spear. The attacks from both sides collided once again. Buzz! The Great Desolation spear trembled continuously before it was sent flying. However, the people of the Mu family were in an even worse state. A few one-star great emperors were shaken, and their bodies were cracked by the terrifying backlash. They were covered in blood, and their auras were weak. They no longer had the strength to fight. "You guys recuperate first," the head of the Mu family roared. However, at this moment, Lu Ming's third move arrived. The Mu family's two-star great emperor was also shaken by this collision, and he was almost killed. Again, Lu Ming was like a martial emperor god of war. His attacks were like a storm. The number of Mu family's great emperors decreased, and they were no match for Lu Ming. In the end, they were at a disadvantage every time they clashed. In the end, even 3- and 4-star great sovereigns started to get injured, and 5-star great sovereigns' faces were pale, and they were gasping for breath. The hearts of the people watching the battle were in a state of shock. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong. He completely suppressed the Mu family. Was the Mu clan going to be destroyed today? In the depths of the Mu family, the emperors from the Hung family, the He family, and the Tianluo family were even paler. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. It was hard to believe that Lu Ming's combat strength had reached such a level. With his current combat strength, he could kill them in a second with one move. How did this happen? They roared in their hearts, unable to accept this fact. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming kept attacking, and his attacks became more and more violent. In the end, even the Mu clan's 5-star great emperor was injured. He was no match for Lu Ming. Kill! Suddenly, Lu Ming's attack changed. He bypassed the 5-star's great emperor and shook the Great Desolation spear. In an instant, he shot out dozens of spear lights. His target was the low-ranked great emperors. Not good, he blocked it. The advanced emperors of the Mu family were shocked. They used all their strength to block Lu Ming's attack. But no matter how hard they tried, they only managed to block half of the spear light. The rest of the spear light continued toward the low-tier emperors. The low-level great emperors, especially the 1- and 2-star great emperors, tried their best to resist, but it was to no avail. Pft, pft, pft. The 1-star and 2-star great emperors' foreheads were pierced through by the spear light, and their souls were destroyed. He was dead. The 1-star and 2-star great emperors of the Mu family were all killed in an instant, and 8 of them were dead. The 8 great emperors were annihilated in an instant. This shocked everyone, but at the same time, it also made the Mu clan furious and filled them with killing intent. Lu Ming, I want you to die without a burial ground. The Mu family's head roared. His eyes were blood red, and his face was ferocious. 8 great sovereigns, what a great loss this was, his heart was bleeding. The Mu family had been around for countless years, and they had only managed to accumulate so many great emperors over time. But now, 8 of them had died. This was a loss that was hard to bear. Now you know how painful it is. If you had known this would happen, you wouldn't have thought of this day when the Mu family wanted to kill me. At this moment, it's impossible that you're the only ones killing others in this world, and others want come to kill you. Lu Ming said coldly. He did not have the slightest bit of pity or sympathy. He and the Mu family were mortal enemies. Either he died or he died. One side had to be destroyed. Chapter 2394, Dandan displays her might. The people from the Mu family were speechless. They could only look at Lu Ming with killing intent. Kill! Lu Ming said coldly. He held the long spear and charged forward again. Today, he would not spare a single higher-up of the Mu clan. Evil creature, die! At this moment, a loud roar came from the depths of the Mu family. The voice was filled with vicissitudes of life, and then a terrifying saber light slashed out from the depths of the Mu family. It was extremely terrifying. Peak Emperor. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly as soon as the saber light was released. The Mu family was indeed unfathomable. There were still experts that hadn't made a move, but there was a peak emperor hiding. Ha ha, I've been waiting for this moment. A loud laugh was heard. Then a huge turtle shell appeared out of thin air and blocked the saber light. It was Dandan who made her move. Previously, he and Bubbles had been watching from the side and had no intention of making a move, in case the Mu family had an even stronger existence. Clang! The saber light struck the turtle shell, causing it to shake and dissipate. However, the saber light was also blocked. Boom! Boom! Then, a terrifying aura burst out from the depths of the Mu family. A total of 5 auras burst out, and a terrifying pressure filled the air. Then, 5 old men stepped out and appeared in front of the crowd. These 5 old men were very old. Their hair was white and their skin was dry and wrinkled, like 5 skeletons. Forefather. The MU clan's patriarch was overjoyed. It's the patriarchs. The patriarchs really didn't die. They've come out of seclusion. This time, let's see how they die. The other members of the MU family were also overjoyed. The MU family indeed has a strong foundation. These must be the old monsters of the MU family who have been in seclusion. Someone from the distant spectators said in a serious tone. The MU family was definitely one of the most powerful forces in Aeon City. They had a deep foundation. It was said that in the distant past, the MU clan even had a heavenly emperor, but the MU clan's heavenly emperor died in battle. However, this also showed how powerful the MU family was. It had always been said that some old monsters in the depths of the MU family were cultivating in seclusion, ignoring the outside world. They only wanted to improve their cultivation, fight the heavenly tribulation, and even break through to the heavenly emperor realm. He wouldn't come out unless it was a matter of life and death for the MU family. Today, after the MU family's great emperors were killed one after another, these old guys came out. The MU family's foundation is indeed deep. We're saved today. Lu Ming must die. Emperor Hung, Emperor Tianluo, and the others were also overjoyed. 3 6-star great emperors and 2 7-star great emperors. Dandan, I'll leave them to you. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Dandan. Don't worry, I'll clean it up soon. Dandan was very confident. When he was on the Void God Island, he was only a 6-star great emperor, but he could suppress other peak great emperors and even kill them. Furthermore, Dandan had already broken through to the peak of 7-star Great Emperor realm, and it would be a piece of cake for him to kill someone at the same level as him. The 5 elders of the MU family looked at Lu Ming with lightning-like eyes and said in cold and dry voices, "You killed my Mu family's people. Kill without mercy. Kill your sister. Try my invincible turtle fist." Dandan charged out with extreme speed and punched at a peak emperor from the MU family. Countless runes flickered on its fist, as if it had condensed into a world. The ancestor of the MU clan was shocked and hurriedly set up layers of defense. However, these defenses were completely useless as they were directly punched through by Dandan. Then, Dandan's fist ruthlessly smashed into the old face of the MU clan's ancestor. Bang! Kacha! The sound of bones breaking reverberated throughout the entire place. The ancestor of the MU clan let out a blood-curdling scream as his body flew far away, smashing a hall of the MU clan into pieces. Everyone was dumbfounded. One of the MU family ancestors had a terrifying aura. He was a peak great emperor, and his appearance shocked everyone. However, he was sent flying by a punch before he could even show off for a few seconds. Moreover, the one who had sent him flying was a teenager in a Taoist robe. A young Taoist priest in his teens. Dandan, this fellow, with his appearance, would really make people ignore him because he really wasn't that good? But at this moment, the impact on everyone was the greatest. Lu Ming really has a helper. His combat strength is shocking. He sent a peak emperor flying with one punch. No wonder he dared to come to the MU family. How terrifying. Could it be that the MU clan is really finished today? Many people were discussing. Among them, the Xian family was the most shocked. Xian Lin and Dongfang Shuiyu both swallowed their saliva as cold sweat dripped down their faces. Their clothes were drenched in cold sweat. At that moment, they were secretly glad that they did not lay a hand on Lu Ming. Otherwise, the Xian family would be finished. The Xian family's strength couldn't compare to the MU family's, so they were really going to die. Pervert, pervert. I'll never provoke this pervert again. Xian Lin roared in his heart. He was truly afraid. At this moment, the remaining 4 elders of the MU family had goosebumps all over their bodies. They instinctively backed away like crazy to increase the distance between them and Dandan. In front of this lord, you still dare to take advantage of your seniority. You simply don't know what's good for you. Kill! Dandan waved the sleeve of her Taoist robe like a peerless expert, and then charged toward the MU clan ancestors. A huge world appeared, vast and boundless. It exuded a grand pressure and pressed down on the other party. Even if other people condensed a small world, they couldn't use it to fight their enemies directly because the condensed small world wasn't that stable and would be easily destroyed by others. But Dandan could. He was the divine turtle of the world. The word world wasn't given to him for nothing. His control of the world had reached the peak. The small world was extremely stable and had great power and an indestructible defense. A small world blotted out the sky and suppressed them. The ancestors of the Mu family couldn't escape and could only fight head-on. Boom, boom, boom. The old man of the Mu family made his move. For attacks were aimed at Dandan's small world. Behind him, the old man who was almost killed by Dandan's punch also made his move. However, the five people's attacks only made Dandan's small world shake a little. It couldn't be broken or blocked at all. Boom. The 3 6-star great emperors screamed and spat out mouthfuls of blood as their bodies cracked and were covered in blood. The 2 peak emperors were slightly better off, but they were also heavily injured. Buzz! Dandan turned into a phantom and directly rushed over, carrying out a bloody slaughter. A series of screams sounded as the 3 6-star great emperors were killed by Dandan in an instant. No, the head of the Mu family and the others cried out in horror, unable to accept this outcome. Kill! At this moment, Lu Ming let out a long howl and launched a violent offensive. Although the Mu family's experts fought back with all their might, the outcome was already decided. Shrieks were heard continuously as the great emperors of the Mu clan died at Lu Ming's hands one after another. As for the 2 peak emperors of the Mu family, they were no match for Dandan at all. They barely managed to block a dozen moves before being killed mercilessly. Chapter 2395, Mu Clan's Destruction. Go, quickly go! In the distance, the Hung family's celestial Dharch, the emperor of Tianluo, and the others were almost scared to death. Then, they turned around and ran away from the Mu family with their subordinates. Lu Ming's ability had far exceeded their imagination. They knew that if they did not run, they would be the ones to die. Go! Everyone from the Mu clan, leave quickly. At that moment, the master of the Mu family also roared, his voice traveling far and wide. He knew that the Mu clan was finished today. The Mu family would be wiped out from the divine destiny land, but he didn't want the Mu family to be annihilated. He wanted the rest of the Mu family to escape. Master! Someone in the Mu family cried out in sorrow. Go, quickly go! The head of the Mu family roared, but his voice stopped abruptly. That was because Lu Ming's long spear had already pierced through his dantian and crippled his cultivation. He let out a shrill cry, his eyes filled with despair. Let's go! The powerful figures of the Mu family, who were below the emperor level, turned into streaks of light and flew in all directions like countless meteors. You want to leave? Have you asked this lord? Dandan sneered and waved her hands. Runes entered the void one after another. Then countless runes suddenly appeared around the Mu family, forming a layer of light that enveloped the entire Mu family. A formation. A few days ago, Dandan had already quietly set up a formation around the Mu family. Today, no one would be able to escape. No, seeing the formation, Emperor Hung, Emperor Tianluo, and the others let out a desperate roar and attacked the light screen one after another. However, this was a formation that had taken Dandan several days to set up. With their cultivation, how could they break it? The attacks landed on the light curtain one after another, but not a single ripple was produced. No, no, no. The people of the Mu family also roared and attacked madly. They were filled with despair. Why is this so? An elder of the Mu clan looked up at the sky and sighed. They had only offended a young man of the younger generation. They could just kill him. The Mu clan had been around for a long time, and they had offended and killed countless so-called geniuses. Even though those heaven's favorites were extremely talented, they were all crushed into dust by their strength. Never in their wildest dreams would they have thought that offending a heaven's favorite would bring about the end of their Mu clan. In the depths of the sky, at an unknown height, 2 figures stood there, and everything below fell into their eyes. These 2 were none other than Hung Xinghe and his master, the 9 demon celestial emperors. Master, it seems that Lu Ming has brought the world turtle with him. The celestial Dharch should not be with him anymore. Should we make a move now? Xinghe asked. Are you worried about the Hung family? The 9 demon celestial emperors asked. No, I didn't. I don't think so. Xinghe shook his head. I just think it's about time. Let's see. Celestial Master 9 Demons said, after killing Lu Ming, these people from the Hung family will definitely die. They will be killed by the celestial Dharch behind Lu Ming. No matter what, they won't survive. So don't worry about it. Just observe for a while longer. Haste makes waste. Do you understand? This disciple knows. Xingchen bowed and nodded. The two of them continued watching. The battle below was coming to an end. Dandan had intervened and killed a few 5-star great emperors of the Mu family with a few slaps. The remaining great emperors were all killed by Lu Ming. Not a single emperor of the Mu family was left alive. This scene was truly shocking. The surrounding spectators were all unable to calm down. The Mu family, which had dominated Aeon City for countless years and was considered a top-notch force even in the Divine Land, had all its great emperors killed by a young man. Life was really unpredictable. The elders of the Xian family, Xian Lin and Dongfang Shuiyu, were already drenched in cold sweat. Their faces were pale, and they were filled with fear. If they had not held back and attacked Lu Ming rashly, the Xian family would have been the one annihilated. Bang! Bang! Lu Ming held his spear and walked toward the emperors of the Hung family, He family, and Tian Luo. Lu Ming, don't kill us. The galaxy has already acknowledged a celestial Dharch as its master. If you destroy the Hung family, the galaxy will not let you off. The great emperor of the Hung family shouted. You're still threatening me even at this time. How foolish. I'll kill that guy from the Star River with my own hands one day. Lu Ming said coldly, his footsteps getting faster. The emperor of the Hung family and the others were in despair as they retreated. However, they were blocked by the formation. If you don't offend me, I won't offend you. I didn't offend you from the beginning. You brought all of this upon yourself. Today, let everything end. Kill. Lu Ming let out a long howl and thrust his spear. Pfft. The spear pierced the emperor's forehead and killed him in the air. No, the emperors from the Hung family and the He family flew to the sides in fear. However, Lu Ming stabbed out 2 more times, and they were killed just like the emperor of Tian Luo. Kill, kill, kill. Then, Lu Ming attacked crazily without any mercy, turning into a killing machine. Endless spear light burst out from his hand and rushed toward the remaining experts of the Mu family, the Daluo Heaven sect, and the He family. Only the Hung family was shown mercy by Lu Ming. That was for the sake of the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor. After all, the Hung family was the descendants of the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor. The Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor had been of great help to Lu Ming, and he did not want to exterminate the Hung family. Lu Ming had only killed a few senior members of the Hung family. He did not kill the rest. However, Lu Ming did not show any mercy to the Mu family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect. Lu Ming had killed all the martial supremes and above. For a time, the entire area was filled with blood and qi, making it look like hell on earth. Hung clan, for the sake of the Hung Yu Heavenly Emperor, I want to destroy you. Get lost. Lu Ming looked at the remaining members of the Hung family. Go, quickly go. The remaining members of the Hung family rushed in one direction. Dandan waved her hand, and the formation automatically separated, not stopping them. I, Lu Ming, am not willing to kill anyone below the rank of a martial supreme. If you want to seek revenge in the future, feel free to come and find me. Get lost. Finally, Lu Ming looked at the people below the martial supreme realm. As if they had been granted amnesty, those people also fled in all directions. Not long after, not a single person was left in the large Mu family. The Mu family, which dominated Aeon City, was destroyed. It was destroyed by a young man. Dandan Bubbles, Chiu, let's go. Lu Ming said, turned around and left. He didn't want to kill, but things won't go as you wish in this world. If you want to reach the peak, you're bound to have some obstacles. This kid is still too soft-hearted. Dandan pursed her lips and followed Lu Ming. But at this moment, Dandan's expression changed drastically as she looked into the depths of the sky. At this moment, Lu Ming's hair stood on end. He felt a terrifying sense of danger. Chapter 2396, Celestial Emperor Takes Action. Lu Ming felt a terrifying sense of danger approaching. This sense of danger came from deep in the sky. Whoosh! At this moment, a beam of sword light shone from the depths of the sky. The sword light was dozens of times brighter than the sun. It illuminated the world, and the pressure of the heavenly Tao filled the world. Everyone felt a great fear. Heavenly Emperor, there's indeed a heavenly emperor behind this. Who is it? Lu Ming's mind was spinning rapidly. Just now, after he had destroyed the Mu family, he had thought that it was the Mu family, the Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect behind the scenes. He had thought that it was over. However, as soon as the sword gleam was released, Lu Ming knew that the matter was not over yet. There was also a Heavenly Emperor realm powerhouse who had been hiding behind and only made a move at the last moment. Caution! The Celestial Arch was extremely cautious. Even when he made his last move, he did it from a distance. Don't even think about it. At this moment, Dandan yelled out. Countless symbols began to spread out from her body, and the formation around the MU family reappeared, forming a light that enveloped the world. Then, Dandan waved her hand and pieces of turtle shells appeared out of thin air, blocking the sword radiance that was aimed at Lu Ming. The Great Desolation Spear also appeared in Lu Ming's hands. Pfft. At this moment, the sword light had already arrived. The defensive power of the formation set up by Dandan was extremely amazing, but when the sword light stabbed the light curtain trembled violently and then was pierced through. The sword beam passed through the light curtain. Its speed did not stop, and it bombarded the heavy turtle shell that Dandan had set up. Bang! 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 The tortoise shell that Dandan had set up exploded one after another, and the terrifying force swept in all directions. In the end, Dandan let out a muffled groan and her body flew far away, spitting out a mouthful of blood. However, after Dandan's continuous obstruction, the power of the sword gleam had been weakened a lot. But it still did not stop and continued to attack Lu Ming. Block it, die! Lu Ming roared with a crazed look on his face. 17 types of laws burst forth and covered the Great Desolation Spear. Then, Lu Ming stabbed it with all his might. This was Lu Ming's strongest attack. All his strength was unleashed at this moment. Buzz! The Great Desolation Spear and the sword radiance collided. Lu Ming immediately felt a terrifying force flowing along the Great Desolation Spear and charging towards him. Buzz! The Great Desolation Spear trembled nonstop, and Lu Ming's body retreated rapidly. His arms and body were covered with sword marks as if he had been slashed hundreds of times in an instant. But in the end, he blocked it. Lu Ming circulated the indestructible ancient scroll with all his might. The injuries on his body were healing rapidly. In the depths of the sky, it seems like there really aren't any other celestial emperors here. Lu Ming, everything you have will be mine today. Disciple, let's go! The 9 demon celestial emperor's face revealed a look of wild joy. Then, he swept up the Eternal Star River and brought it down. He had only been testing the waters with that sword strike. If Tai Celestial Arch had made a move just now, he would have immediately, however. Looking at Lu Ming and Dandan's desperate resistance, he concluded that the Celestial Arch was not with Lu Ming. Not far in front of Lu Ming, there was a flash of light and 2 figures appeared out of thin air. Star River, 9 demon celestial emperors, it's you? Lu Ming narrowed his eyes at the sight of the galaxy and the 9 demon celestial emperors. His eyes gleamed coldly. It seemed that the person behind the scenes was the 9 demon celestial emperors. He didn't let Earth 1 and Thunder 1 out just now because he wanted to lure the other party out. Lu Ming, you've killed innocents. Today, my master will carry out justice on behalf of the heavens. Xingqian shouted. Hee. You're just enforcing justice on behalf of the heavens. Don't make it sound so high and mighty. Hung Xinghe, I've underestimated you in the past. You're really inhumane. You even want to use the Hung family and watch them be destroyed without doing anything. Lu Ming sneered. Lu Ming, you're a smart man. Hand over everything you have. Remember everything. Hand it over and I'll give you a quick and painless death. The 9 demon celestial emperor spoke, and his aura emanated. The Heavenly Emperor realm could borrow the power of the Heavenly Path. That aura was too terrifying. It was as if the Heavenly Path was pressing down on one's body. Everyone in Aeon City had a huge change in expression as they felt the terrifying pressure. The Heavenly Emperor. Oh my God! It's the Heavenly Emperor. There's actually a Celestial Arch behind this. Lu Ming is finished. He has offended a Celestial Arch. Many people were screaming in fear, but they didn't dare to say anything for fear of offending the Celestial Arch. In the eyes of everyone in Aeon City, the Heavenly Emperor realm was a supreme existence. With just a thought, millions of corpses could be buried and blood would flow like a river. Now, there was a Celestial Arch who wanted to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming was dead for sure. 9 demon celestial emperors. It seems like you're after my treasures. It's easy for you to kill me, but if this matter gets out, you won't have a place to stay. Lu Ming said with a calm expression. Haha, the world is so big. Who can find me if I just hide? The 9 demon celestial emperors laughed and looked at the Great Desolation Spear in Lu Ming's hands. It was filled with burning flames and greed, If you want my treasure, come and take it yourself. It's impossible for me to hand it over, Lu Ming said, intentionally retreating slowly. Putting up a stubborn resistance, struggling to survive. The nine-demon celestial emperor said coldly. His body swayed, and he pounced toward Lu Ming. Fast, it was too fast. The celestial thearch's speed was unbelievably fast. Before anyone could react, he had already arrived in front of Lu Ming. His claw was like a hook as he clawed at Lu Ming's glabella. At such a fast speed, Lu Ming could not avoid it even if he wanted to. However, Lu Ming had no intention of avoiding it. Lu Ming just stood there calmly, letting the other party's claws grab at him. Lu Ming is dead. Many people had the same thought. However, at this moment, an extra arm suddenly appeared on Lu Ming's body. It was a khaki-colored arm that blasted out directly from Lu Ming's body and blasted toward the nine-demon celestial emperor's claw. It really looked like Lu Ming had an extra arm out of thin air. Boom. With a deafening boom, the nine-demon celestial emperor's body trembled, and he couldn't help but retreat. He was sent flying 100 miles. A figure appeared on Lu Ming's body. It was a khaki-colored figure with a burly figure and a mountain-like aura. It was Earth One. Primal Chaos Hall 2E. The nine-demon celestial emperor's expression was extremely unsightly. Nine Devil, it seems like you're tired of living. How dare you have ideas about my Primal Chaos Hall's young master? Earth One spoke coldly, his eyes somewhat malevolent. The surrounding people were all dumbstruck. This sudden change was beyond everyone's expectations. He had thought that Lu Ming was dead for sure. He did not expect that a figure would suddenly appear on Lu Ming's body. Furthermore, this figure was clearly a heavenly emperor. Lu Ming also had a heavenly emperor-level powerhouse behind him. Moreover, it seemed that the celestial Thearch addressed Lu Ming as young master and took orders from him. The nine-demon celestial emperor's expressions were extremely unsightly. However, Xing's expression was even uglier. Damn it, how is this possible? The galaxy roared in its heart. They had already tested him several times and were almost certain that the celestial Thearch was not with Lu Ming. They did not expect that he still had the celestial Thearch with him. Furthermore, they had hidden themselves so deeply. When they were in life-threatening danger, they didn't even let the celestial Thearch come out. Chapter 2397. The Fall of the Celestial Emperor. Let's go. Retreat. The nine-demon celestial emperors roared, and a force swept up the eternal star river, forcing it to retreat. As soon as Earth One appeared, he knew that he would not be able to do anything to Lu Ming today. He could only retreat. His life was the most important. It's too late to leave now. A cold voice was heard. Then a bolt of lightning flashed, and a figure appeared behind the nine-demon celestial emperor. This figure was covered in lightning. It was Lei. The nine-demon celestial emperor's figures stopped in an instant, and their faces were extremely ugly. Not only did Earth One follow Lu Ming, but also Thunder One. There were two celestial emperors in total. With two heavenly emperors surrounding him, he was in danger. The galaxy was in despair. Lu Ming, what happened today was a misunderstanding. How about I apologize to you in public another day? The nine-demon celestial emperors revealed a flattering smile. Misunderstanding? Kill him. Lu Ming spoke calmly and gave the order. He would not give the nine-demon celestial emperors any chance. The nine-demon celestial emperors must die. Kill! Lei let out a long roar, and his body was filled with endless thunder and lightning. He directly struck out a palm toward the nine-demon celestial emperors. Lu Ming, let's see who's the one who's dead. The nine-demon celestial emperor's eyes were ferocious. He brought the Star River and charged at Lu Ming. Earth One stepped out and punched at the nine-demon celestial emperor. But at this moment, the nine-demon celestial emperor waved his hand and actually threw the eternal Star River towards Earth One. Master, the galaxy let out a desperate cry. Rest in peace. Your master will take revenge for you. The nine-demon celestial emperor's cold voice rang in Xing Chen's ears. Ah! Xing Chen let out an unwilling scream. His body was turned into dust by Earth One's terrifying fist force. He had no power to resist. The nine-demon celestial emperors took the opportunity to dash toward Lu Ming in a flash. He wanted to capture Lu Ming and use him as a hostage to escape. He wanted to obtain all the resources from Lu Ming, such as the indestructible ancient scroll. You're looking for death. Earth One roared, and a meteor hammer appeared in his hand. With a wave, the meteor hammer was like a shooting star, blasting towards the 9-demon celestial emperor at an unbelievable speed. It also emitted a terrifying heavenly Tao pressure. The 9-demon celestial emperor's pupils contracted sharply, and he let out a desperate roar. Heaven Tao soldiers. This meteor hammer was naturally the heavenly Tao soldier that Lu Ming had given to Earth One. The speed of the meteor hammer was unbelievably fast. It caught up with the 9-demon celestial emperor in an instant. He did not have time to attack Lu Ming and could only turn around to defend himself. Whoosh! 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 A long sword appeared in the hands of the 9-demon celestial emperors. In an instant, he stabbed out hundreds of times. Hundreds of sword lights converged into one sword and blasted toward the meteor hammer. However, it was useless. He couldn't block it at all. Earth One's strength was stronger than the 9-demon celestial emperors to begin with. With the addition of the Heaven Tao soldier, his strength skyrocketed, and his combat power was far above the 9-demon celestial emperors. Boom! With a violent boom, the meteor hammer crushed the 9-demon celestial emperor's sword light with unstoppable momentum and blasted toward them. At the critical moment, the 9-demon celestial emperors could only block with his sword. However, when the meteoric hammer collided with the combat sword, the top-notch emperor-level weapon exploded. The terrifying power struck the 9-demon celestial emperors heavily. Arg! The 9-demon celestial emperor screamed as his body was sent flying. His body was split into two. Although he wasn't dead yet, he was severely injured. His aura was weak, and his face was pale. After being struck by the Heaven Tao soldiers, the 9-demon celestial emperor's strength was reduced to less than 10%. Lu Ming, I surrender. Don't kill me. I'll acknowledge you as my master and follow your orders. The 9-demon celestial emperors roared in horror. He was truly afraid now. Against 2E, who was controlling the Heaven Tao soldier, he had no chance and would definitely be killed. This was the first time in countless years that he had felt such fear. I'm not interested, kill. Lu Ming said coldly. Die! Earth One roared ferociously, and the meteoric hammer blasted toward the 9-demon celestial emperors again. Lu Ming, you'll die a terrible death. Ah, run! Celestial Emperor Zhou Mo roared hysterically. He used all his means to escape, but it was useless. Under the attacks of the Heaven Tao soldiers, all his means were useless. Bang! The 9-demon celestial emperors' bodies exploded in the air, and their souls were also annihilated by the Heaven Tao soldiers' attacks. The 9-demon celestial emperors, a heavenly emperor-level figure, had died just like that. At that moment, the crowd was already numb. They could not make a sound and were completely stunned as they looked at Lu Ming in a daze. The celestial Dharch was dead. A celestial Dharch was killed by Lu Ming's subordinates. This image was too impactful, too shocking. The celestial Dharch was a legendary figure in the primordial realm. He was supreme and would never face any heavenly tribulations. He had an endless lifespan, as long as heaven and earth, and his combat power was boundless. It was extremely difficult to even meet such a figure. However, one of them had fallen in front of them. Moreover, it was all because of a young man. Young master, that guy's storage ring. Earth One flew back and handed Lu Ming a storage ring, which was left behind by the 9-demon celestial emperor. Lu Ming nodded and kept the storage ring. Let's go. Lu Ming opened his mouth and was about to leave. Young hero Lu Ming, please wait. At this moment, a voice was heard. Lu Ming was slightly stunned. He stopped in his tracks and turned around. 5 to 6 figures walked over. Lu Ming recognized 2 of them. They were the Eastern Snow region and Xian Lin. What's wrong? Does your Xian family still want to find trouble with me? Lu Ming said coldly. Xian Lin, Dongfang Shuiyu, and a few of the elders of the Xian family shivered. A wrinkled elder had a smile on his face as he cupped his fists. Brother Lu Ming, you must be joking. How would we dare to fight with you? We are here to apologize to you. Xian Lin, Dongfang Shuiyu, why don't you come forward and apologize to little brother Lu Ming? In the end, the old man's cold eyes turned to Xian Lin and Dongfang Shuiyu. They were almost scared to death when they saw the Mu family being annihilated and even a celestial Dharch being killed. They were afraid that Lu Ming would attack the Xian family because of Xian Lin and the Xian family would be annihilated. Therefore, when he saw that Lu Ming was about to leave, he quickly came out and apologized to Lu Ming. Xian Lin and Dongfang Shuiyu stepped forward with pale faces. Cupping their fists, they bowed and said, "We were blind before and offended you. Please forgive us and not lower yourself to our level." Lu Ming was noncommittal. He waved his hand casually and left without saying a word. Chiao Yu, Bubbles, Dandan, 2E, and Lei followed Lu Ming and disappeared without a trace. Xian Lin, Dongfang Shuiyu, and the rest of the Xian family were panting uneasily. They did not understand what Lu Ming meant. After a while, they went back in a daze. The entire Xian family was filled with uneasiness, afraid that Lu Ming would come to them. You're tuning in to the Bli Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.